Ryan Condal, and it is me. We are live
And
streaming.
we are live now.
Yeah.
um,
Look up the hashtag The Menace Ryan Condal on TikTok, and you'll find only my. Actually, my TikTok's private at this moment, but that is where the hashtag is. But I will unprivate my TikTok, and everybody can see the hashtag The Menace Ryan Condal. And by all means, use the hashtag because it's true. And
well,
we should establish a second
he
hashtag
is
called
a menace.
"And the Occasional Menace Sarah Hess." That should be the other hashtag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there were new menaces inducted tonight into the Menace crew, but or in this past episode. But all that being said, I think we're live. Part of the Seven Kingdoms. I'm Baki Balboa, and coming to us from a Helena's dream sequence is Belak.
I'm Belak. Yeah, this is Helena's dream sequence. I'm Belak, and we are talking about the most recent episode of House of the Dragon, the dragon show we've all come to know and love and be disappointed in. Why am I surprised? I shouldn't be. But before we jump into that, I do want to let the viewers know we did something very fun this past weekend.
Yes, we did.
Guys, we met in real life.
We got the friendship out of the group chat.
We got it out of the group chat.
Yeah.
I was down in DC for a convention, and that was close enough for us to make it work. And we met up, and there's photo evidence of this. We took exactly one photo and made no TikToks.
I know the content we'll have to save that for next time. But yeah, I feel like I'll have to meme the photo in some way and get it up with a good sound on TikTok just for proof to the listeners that we did in fact meet in real life. And it was awesome. It was very pleasant and good to hang out. You got to meet the House Baki.
I did. I met House Baki. I met Baki's wife and child, and who is super cute, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
It was lovely. It was a very, very cool time. So it was exciting times.
Yeah.
We managed to not talk too much about the Dragon Show in polite company.
Yeah. And it was a nice change of pace because talking about the show is at times painful.
I was just like, I want to be cool. I want Phil's wife to like me and not think I'm like weird. And all I talk about is the Dragon Show. And I'm like, quickly think of other topics besides the Dragon Show. Activate human protocol. What do I talk about?
and I mean, at the end of the day, she does choose to be married to me, which subjects her to that quite often. She would have taken it in stride, but I do appreciate it. And it was it was a nice little lunch and everything, and just a cool opportunity to meet up. And now that we're friends in real life, it only makes the pod gain power.
Yes, it makes the pod that much stronger. Absolutely. Yeah. That's how it works.
And obviously this podcast has been primarily, it's a Dunk and Egg podcast, but we're talking about House of the Dragon because that is the show that's on right now, and we will also be talking about Dunk and Egg books hopefully in the near future once this show puts us out of our misery.
Yeah, once Ryan Condal stops menacing me daily, that would be great.
But all that being said, we do have to talk about this.
Yes. Now, before we got on stream, you said something interesting to me. You said that you believe there are how many scenes in this 1 hour episode?
By my count, and this is not exact, but by my count, because I wanted to make sure that I had enough to be able to go through the episode recap. I believe there are 23 distinct scenes.
That is insane. The episode is an hour. Give it the full 60 minutes. It's not ever the full 60, but let's pretend it's the full 60. 60 divided, that means that each scene is 2.5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Or 3 minutes.
Let's see.
That's not conducive to narrative storytelling. That is just no wonder the thing is so confusing. And I've seen a lot of feedback this week from the normies who watch the show and don't like know the books as well and stuff, or like don't way overanalyze it or haven't read them, where
Right.
people are just saying like they are confused, like they don't understand. And I think that when we look back on the show as a whole, and particularly look back on this season, this the disparate nature of those scenes is going to be a big source of that confusion, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It does come out to roughly 2.6 minutes per scene.
And yet we spent at least 3 of them with Aemond fucking his mom. Well, you know.
We'll get to we'll get to that. But yeah, it is kind of crazy. I think that we talked about, and I think there's a couple of things that I think kind of overarching this episode felt, very impacted by, and it's been themes with the show, but this episode kind of unfortunately brought out some of the worst aspects of certain characteristics of the show, so shall we say, in terms of the writing, which is characters don't really react or remember any of the stuff that's ever happening to them, or how it's going to be thought of in the world, or how it's like their actions just sort of are occurring devoid of any context and all of that. And the episodes, like, as a result, the episodes feel very disconnected from each other, which I think contributes to what you're talking about, where it feels like each of these episodes was written almost as like a challenge of some kind, where the writers went into different spaces and were like, okay, you write this episode, you write this episode, you write this episode, and we'll just see what we come up with, and then we'll try to connect it after the fact. Like,
truly. And I've been seeing that a lot in the critique so far, is that people repeating that word disconnected. There's no connective tissue between these things. I started seeing that pop. I think you actually mentioned that a few weeks ago. I think you might have been the first person I heard say that. But it does, and it's so difficult to put your finger on, because there's a few things about writing and narrative that are like sort of ineffable. Like, you kind of know when it's bad, but you don't quite know how to make it good. I think pacing is one of those things. Pacing is definitely like hard to put your finger on, like what makes pacing good, but you can tell when pacing is bad. And I think similarly with like the connections, it's like I don't know why it doesn't feel connected, but it doesn't. It definitely doesn't. Some of those things are glaring plot holes. And then some of those things are like plot cul-de-sacs. Like, so back in yonder days when I was on Unabashed Book Snobbery, we would refer to the bad show Game of Thrones. The various plot cul-de-sacs characters would go on. They would enter the cul-de-sac, go around, and come back out the same side, and nothing important would have happened.
Yeah.
That happens with Rhaena, right? And we'll talk about that. So, you get these little plot cul-de-sacs where then at the end I'm like, why did you waste all my screen time doing this then? Like, screen time's at a premium. We haven't even had the final thing in this season is going to be Tumbleton. How are they going to resolve? It doesn't make any sense. There's no way this was their magical plan from the beginning. I don't trust HBO and anything they say, but alas, yes.
So this episode of the Dragon Show begins with a new tapestry sequence that somehow, like, normally when there's a new tapestry sequence, I'm like, it's something big, or it's kind of like hinting at something that might happen. All we get is some unnamed Team Black soldiers and some unnamed Team Green soldiers who are dead. I guess saying that the war is happening, which we are supposedly well into the war. So thank you for the update. And then Kristen Cole pincushion added to the tapestry. That was it, though. Nothing like earth-shattering or interesting, really, like new in the intro. But it leads us into the first scene, which is Helena standing in that courtyard where stuff happens in the Red Keep, and she's alone. It's sort of like early morning, and there is a white horse, which we all know that white horses in King's Landing are important until they're not.
Yeah, well, she describes it later as a gray mare.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because there's a gray mare prophecy in the books proper,
Right.
which has nothing to do with the Long Night. So I don't know what if that means anything. Yeah, so she's like in this magical courtyard, and I don't know. It became pretty clear to me pretty early that it was a dream sequence.
Yeah.
And she like look through the doors, they open, and there's like sun question mark, sunset, sunrise, unclear, meaningful. Eh?
Who's to say? That's for you to decide.
Yeah.
That's what much of the show. Is it meaningful? That is up to you. That is not the show's job to hold your hand and decide whether or not something is meaningful.
Right? Remember, she's a dreamer. Is this the first time we've seen her dream?
She like astral projected into Damon's nightmares before.
But that was Weirwood. That was Weirwood shenanigans. That was Damon's Weirwood shenanigans that she astral projected.
Which I still don't understand how she did that. But
I don't know, and I don't think the creators know or remember, frankly. But
like, that doesn't sound like us.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like something we'd write.
No, fucking prophecies are dumb. Prophecies are dumb, says the Tommy Dagger Show.
Prophecies are for 8th grade book reports, I think, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Something along those lines. Yeah, so that's my understanding. So I think this is I think I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time we actually see her dream.
I think you are right.
Only after last episode, someone finally tells Rhaenyra that her half sister, who she's lived in the same castle with, who's obviously super fucking weird as a Targaryen, has dreams. Like Rhaenyra just found out about this, and she's like, she's a dreamer. And I was like, I get it, narrative. She's a dreamer, and now you're finally showing me her dreams. Thank you. I needed that clarification because I am too stupid to understand it without someone looking directly at camera and going, ah, she's a dreamer.
Right.
Thanks.
And Rhaenyra,
thanks, Emma.
And Rhaenyra is like, I know exactly what to do and exactly how dragon dreams work, which is I can ask specific questions about current events and get exact, precise answers about troop movements. Like, Rhaenyra thinks that dragon dreams are Palantir.
Yes. I was thinking Rhaenyra thinks that dragon dreams are like Claude. You just type in your question and it gives you an answer.
Yeah. So Rhaenyra wakes Helena up from the stream and is immediately the most annoying that she's been, which is saying something for this season of Rhaenyra being ineffectual. It's like worse somehow because she's also being very stupid in this.
Yeah.
Which is
she's
a
crazy.
fixture of Rhaenyra this episode.
She's crazy. Do you see how crazy the two sides of the same coin? Targaryens are crazy. She's so crazy. She grabs Helena's arm and says, tell me about the troop movements that you've dreamed of.
Yeah.
What's wild about this is that Rhaenyra is the only other Targaryen that took her father's dragon shit seriously. Right. When her dad talked about dragon dreams and he talked about the powers of the dragons, he like did all the mythical shit. She's the only one that knows about the magic dagger. We haven't seen magic dagger get lit up in a long time.
True.
So, I mean, I guess Daemon technically knows about the prophecy, but I don't know that he's seen magic dagger.
Aemon has it and is busy murdering people with it. So
yeah, he's doing all kinds of crimes with it. Yeah. So the fact that Rhaenyra would find out her sister is a dragon dreamer and would think that means that she can give advice on the war is so dumb. I could see the conversation written to get to the point of, am I destined to be queen? Because that's a destiny question. Like that, totally. We could write it that way. But all the political questions she starts with, because I think she does eventually get to, am I meant to be queen or whatever?
Yeah, she does.
And I think that question is a question Rhaenyra would be asking now. And I like that being something in her psyche. I just don't like the way they've written it here in this television show. So
the crazy thing about this scene for me is the fact that, like, the person that Rhaenyra should be asking these questions of about specifics of Ormond's movements and like what's going on in Tumbleton or with Corliss or anything is Mazaria, her mistress of whispers, who is supposed to know all this shit and is helping her exactly 0%. Like she is doing nothing.
Hey, listen.
is
Look, she gives him great head later. Okay, listen. She's helping a little bit. hold on. You know, you gotta get that white worm somewhere. Come on.
No, that's like the person who's supposed to be like the person who's supposed to have the answers to this lives here, and you can talk to her. And then she does talk to her later. Not about that at all. Like she saved those questions for the prophecy person,
or just the council. Like talk to.
Oh, I've got shit about the council. I've got like, basically. I mean, we could just say like, what is the fucking point of Rhaenyra's small council? They cannot help her with anything. They don't have answers about anything.
Yep.
They don't know anything. They are comic relief, and it's so insane to me that she does it. Like Rhaenyra kind of flips out in the small council scene when the unnamed Frey, who is not, I will not call her Sabbatha Frey. That is not my Sabbatha Frey.
No, definitely not.
She asks about Harrenhal, and Rhaenyra, exasperated, is like, just take it. Like, just take it. I don't care. Yeah. But what is the point of her small council? Like, they do nothing. And like small counselors across even the bad show, like prior to it being bad, mostly were they did stuff.
Even when it was bad. Remember when that one small council guy went to fucking Bravos and was like treating with the Bravosi? Yeah. And we were like, this is dumb. This is complete. Like, this is silly.
But he's doing something.
But he was doing something.
They're all just sitting around.
With Aegon's small council, when Tyland went and treated with the Tyroshi, right? Like they can do things. And the concept that the Master of Coin, he mentions, like, I suggested a tax, but you said no. It's like I thought the Master of Coin sets the tax. That's you do the finances. Yeah. You just said it. You just do finance.
And go to Bravo. Like, I know talking about the Bravosi, but like go to the Iron Bank, or like start talking to people about financing Rhaenyra's campaign to like hold the throne, because it's like, hey, we're going to get business going, and we've got Corlys Velaryon on our side, and you're going to have trade like crazy when all this is over, when we win, right? Like there's so many things that you can do.
Well, right now
instead it's like, we need him to be here to tell lame jokes and be comic relief.
Yep. Well, right now the gullet should be open, because the Velaryon fleet destroyed the Tyroshi, and the queen also holds Dragonstone, and she holds Rook's Rest, which is just north of Dragonstone. So, and she holds Driftmark. So she holds the King's Landing and everything around Blackwater Bay. Yeah. So what's the fucking problem with the trade? There should be plenty. There should be plenty of trade happening. Yeah. And remember, do you recall? Believe last episode, was it, when Daemon was in the Vale one of those times, and he talked to Lysa about like not Lysa, I'm so sorry.
The person that they desperately want us to associate with Lysa.
They talked to Jane Arryn. He talked to Jane Arryn about paying over some money. He's like, give us some fucking coin, because you haven't sent the troops yet. So like, the Vale is supposed to be sending some money. There's like, certainly, like, there's more avenues than just like, I would set a tax, but you said no taxes. Like, there's other ways, and he would be doing those things. Instead, he's just comic relieving, and unnamed Frey woman is just waiting for Harrenhal, I guess, ?
And now she might be like, that might be her involvement in the show, like, ended. Like, she got Harrenhal. Like, I literally don't know if she'll be in the show anymore.
You know what? You make an excellent point.
Like, that's an arc complete.
Done. They have that on the whiteboard, you know.
Big whiteboard, big like, check mark.
Frey done. Got Harrenhal. All she wanted. No, they're gonna have some silly thing where she dies because she, I don't know. A little girl pops out with a knife and said, "The North is going to remember someday," and then it kills
Yeah,
her. That's
exactly.
exactly what's going to happen. Yeah.
Well, so from Rhaenyra's annoying questioning of Helena, we move to Harrenhal, and it's set up like Alicent has arrived at Harrenhal, but luckily we know that this is a dream because it gets very weird very quickly between Alicent and Aemond.
I'll be honest, I was tricked. I was bamboozled. I did not realize it was a dream until it was revealed it was a dream.
You fell into their trap.
I did. I was tricked. I was so surprised and shocked.
I
They shocked
was
me. Look at them.
they
Amazing.
subverted my expectations. I like, well, what did you think of, like, because this is what they were trying to do, obviously, is draw parallels with Daemon's, like,
Do you get it? It's a parallel with Daemon.
because they keep doing this and they keep beating us over the head with it, like,
know.
but what, I guess, like, yeah, what were your thoughts on Aemon Tarfreudian?
So Aemon Tarfreudian, that's good. That's good. I like
And
that.
Freudian spelled with a Y, obviously.
Oh, that's great. Freudian Targaryen. So initially, as it was happening, I was deconstructing it in my head because I'm like, I don't like this, and I don't think they needed to do this, obviously. But then I was sort of like, genuinely, if you were to send Alicent on a murder quest on her own, which is stupid, but if you were to send her on her own to kill her son, one thing Alicent knows how to do is use her sexuality. She doesn't like to, but she does, and she deals with it when she has to. Or deals with it is like a nice way of saying it. Like she, we've seen Alicent be the target of men's sexual violence from the jump, right?
Yeah.
And I've said this before, I do think they're trying to make a point with that like even the most powerful woman in Westeros is still subjugated by the patriarchy, and that's why monarchy and patriarchy is bad, right? I don't know if they quite stick that landing, but I can at least appreciate them attempting to make a point.
Sure.
And which is a point made in the books with Cersei. So it's
Yes.
very similar to Cersei Lannister in that way. So I was sort of like, okay, and then like it kept going and they were gonna like actually have sex. So I thought it was gonna be like Alicent's gonna like trick him into sex and then like slit his throat or some such thing. And I was gonna be like, that's a real turn for Alicent's character. But also I was like, this is the dragon show, so it could totally happen. And then it turned out to be a dream, and I was like, oh, we're just copy pasting one of my least favorite parts of season 2, which was that they trapped Daemon in a cycle in Harrenhal the entire season. And now they've trapped Aemond in a cycle the entire season, and I don't get it.
Which I want to put a pin in the Daemon season 2 discussion, because I think it's important to talk about Daemon season 2 arc based on stuff that happened in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk more about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be for real. Like, the idea that they bring this parallel back in and Aemond has this dream, especially given the fact that he actually like tried to romantically kiss his mom literally like a couple episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
I get what they're doing and everything. What I found very off-putting about this particular scene was how gratuitous and graphic they made the scene between, like, not only from the character perspective, because I think it was completely unnecessary for it to get as far into the act as they got. I think from a meta perspective, it's also kind of fucked up because these two people have been playing mother and son, and you as a creative team are like, this is what you're going to do. Like, and to me, it felt kind of fucked up, like, to even force the actors like into that situation. Like I know that they weren't forced, and of course I'm sure there was like, you know, all the appropriate controls on set. I'm not making any like sort of, you know, accusations that way. It's just to me it just feels weird and kind of like, I think the people who are pointing out sort of like the fetishization of Olivia Cook in particular, and like the weird sexual stuff that she's been pushed into, like as an actress. Like she got subjected to the Laris Foot stuff, she got subjected to like, which has never been brought up again, by the way. Like that was one scene.
I'm shocked. This show not following up on something
that has never once happened again. So that's the thing, is like it just feels very odd that she's been at the center of not just the sexual like been the target of sexual violence multiple times this season. Like but in this case, like they made them act out a weird amount of the actual act when everybody got what was going on, right? Like well before, like they just didn't need it to go. To me, it just felt very gratuitous, like at the level of like stuff from Game of Thrones, but even kind of weirder because it's a mother and son.
I agree. I think given the way the show has been written so far, I would categorize it as gratuitous. I could envision a universe where this was a different show and this show was written in a way where this would border on gratuitous but be effective in its like shock value for the purpose of making the critique of like, you know, that making the critique that Targaryens are not any different from other people, and you should be just as grossed out about Targaryen incest as you are right now.
Sure.
And I think that parallel comes if you like, when I watched the scene in season 2 with Daemon fucking his mom, I didn't have as strong feelings as I did about this, right? Because I didn't know who that was. Right. And then someone told me later that was Alyssa, his mother. And I'm like, oh, a woman I've never seen and will never see again.
Right.
Who cares? Like, it's just some blonde lady. I can kind of conceptualize that's his mom and that's gross, but then like, yeah, they're Targaryens. Whatever. Then you watch this and you know these characters much better and you know their relationship. And this is a lot more disturbing than the previous one, right? Just by nature of our familiarity. And that is an interesting parallel in that I'm more disturbed by the non-Targaryen mother fucking her son than I am by the Targaryen mother fucking her son.
Sure.
But if this show was done differently and like these characters were more close to the center of being a main character in the story, and there was like appropriate screen time adapted to this, I could see that being a critique. But here, the reason I'm more grossed out by the second one, or I find the second one more gratuitous, is simply because I know these people. And in the first case, I didn't know, I don't know Alyssa. None of us know Alyssa. And that's because they didn't write her into the show. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, this version, it's an artifact. It's a bug, not a feature, you know? Like, it's a happenstance of how they wrote it, not something that came about through intentional planning. So as written, I tend to agree. I think it's gratuitous, and it took so long.
Right.
It was, of the 23 scenes, it was a longer one.
Yeah.
It was one of the longest, and I don't know exactly. And then I really didn't understand how it paired later when Alicent actually shows up, and Aemond is like disturbed. I'm like, Aemond, you're the one that kissed her a few days ago in King's Landing.
Yeah.
Like, why are you disturbed now? This doesn't make any sense. Either you want to kiss mommy or you don't, you know? You did already. You did do it.
I still absolutely don't know what to think about the fact that he was grossed out and stopped when he realized it wasn't his mom.
It wasn't his mom, yeah.
Like, that was the trigger to halt this situation. Also, I think it's unclear to me, like, I don't know, like what is Alice experiencing during all of this, and why? Like, if Eamon's in like a fugue state where he like thinks that he's having sex with his mom, and you're having sex with him, like that's assault,
Yeah. And also, is she causing it?
right?
Is she doing magic or not doing magic?
Also, is
Is the
he? I want to know because they made it very clear that she was feeding Damon weirwood paste, but like, is
Mhm.
she feeding Eamon weirwood paste? And it doesn't seem like it, or at least they're not explicitly showing that she is.
I mean, I think the vision of sexy mom is perhaps the hint that she is.
Where it's like, hey, everybody who eats weirwood paste has this
It's
drug.
like it's like different strains of marijuana, like some strains of marijuana make you giggly, some make you sleepy. This one makes you want to fuck your mother. Like, that's what the weirwood paste is like.
Oh
There's
man,
actually a dispensary in Harrenhal. They legalized it just in the Riverlands. It's still illegal,
right,
Westeros wide, but like, just in the States, it's in the little area where the Riverlands, they've legalized
right.
it. That's the
That's
primary
funny.
dispensary, yeah. Uh, yeah, the whole thing. With Alice too, I don't. Did I not say that Alice and Ellison would be catty?
You did.
Did I not say?
You did. You called that exactly. And yeah, there's a bit of an odd scene that we get in a bit. First we get Ormond and Gwaine in a very brief scene where Gwaine quote question mark returns to Tumbleton like via a gate.
Yep. Yep.
And so he left like for something
Yeah. Wait,
and
wasn't
comes
he
back.
there?
Yeah, he was there already, so it's like, I don't know, is he returning from something else? Was he scouting? Whatever, maybe he was going to find the Riverman army, I don't know. But anyways, or I guess he maybe gives the alert that like, oh, this Riverman army is like marching towards Tumbleton, and Ormond's like, I have a piece on the board or whatever, like,
Yeah.
and he's hinting at some secret plan, and that's it. That's all we get from
And
that scene.
I'm sitting there and I'm like, is the piece on the board the dragon you have? Because the Riverlands army
No,
doesn't have one of those. So
no,
is it
and we
that?
haven't shown Tessarion in like 4 episodes somehow. So
Well, the CGI budget
we've
had
been
to go to other dragons this episode. So.
we've been in Tumbleton. We've been in Tumbleton for 8,000 years.
Just
But
gonna say it's
like,
been 84 years.
yeah. But no, we don't get to see Tessarion ever again. Oh, and we see the Riverman army like marching towards Tumbleton with Kristen Cole's head on a spike, and so that's a thing. It's also said in a later scene that the Riverman army is 1 day's march from Tumbleton. But then it's also said that the Valerian soldiers will be in King's Landing by the next day, which means they would be arriving at the same time. And I'm pretty sure we see the Valerians get to King's Landing, but the Riverman army doesn't get to Tumbleton. So anyways,
listen. There's a reason they're not showing us any maps. They don't want us to know.
Oh, I've got more on the travel here. Then we get, oh, okay. So one of this is the beginning of probably the scenes that, because I was thoroughly grossed out by our visit to Harrenhal, but the scene that really started my me being pissed off about this episode, Damon goes back to the Eyrie and Jane Eyre, and I just wanted to ask, because maybe you can help me with this. What is this? What is going on?
That's a good question. What is this? A good, nice, broad question. This is the first draft of a script that wasn't edited. And this is the result of a writer's room where everyone is sniffing their own farts and saying, yes, this is delicious. What brilliant writing. I
Notes
can't.
of
It's going
vanilla
to be so
and
good.
cinnamon.
Oh, they're gonna love it. They're gonna love we're gonna give a little nod to Jane Eyre being maybe not so straight, because we're gonna put a lady on her lap and she's gonna say, Go, I'll see you later. Ooh, this sexy sapphic ladies.
Can
And yeah.
I be honest about this? At
Mhm.
first, I was like, why are they doing like a Sweet Robin thing? And this is clearly
Ah!
Jane's like child. And then
Uh-huh.
it was like, they're like, it was like clearly supposed to be like sexual in nature, their
Mhm.
relationship. And I was like, oh, like,
Do you get
I don't know
it?
if
Do
it
you
was an
get
issue
it?
of casting or what the problem was. Like, I was like, why? And so apparently that is, oh gosh, I'm forgetting her name, but a Redfort, of which we see two Redforts in this episode,
Ah.
who is Jane Eyre's, like, in Fire and Blood, it's like referenced as her
Mhm.
close companion,
Yes.
and when it's obviously heavily
But
insinuated
but
that she's gay.
but don't you get it when women like women? They like women in the same way that like body predatory men of Westeros like women. You
Yes.
know, just like remember Yara Greyjoy and how
Yes.
she liked slapping women on the ass and saying, "I'm gonna go fuck the tits off of this one." Remember that? Remember that, guys? That was burned into my head. I
And
remember
then,
that.
yeah. And then, what a crazy thing to say.
What a crazy thing to say, to write, to film, to edit, to air. What a crazy thing. And yeah, Jane Eyre, same thing. You know, she has a much. I think the reason you're confused is because the woman was much younger.
Yeah.
So she's a much younger woman sitting on her lap, of course, on her throne, because that's how a man would do it in that scene, and consequently, that's women. Women are just like whether sapphic women or women loving women are just like predatory men in Westeros. That's
Right.
precisely how they are all the time.
So
Yep.
Damon shows up to be like, hey, where's Rhaena? And Jane is like, I don't fucking know. And
Like she
it's
has
like,
a fucking dragon. I don't fucking. I
and
don't
it's
know
like,
what.
wait, like, weren't you holding her basically against her will like last episode? Damon says, and then she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't hold a dragon rider. That's insane. Even though
Yep.
she slapped the shit out of her like 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
Um,
Jane Eyre
so
says,
yeah.
I did not watch the last episode. I don't know what happened there.
So
no spoilers, please.
I'm not caught up.
Yeah.
So yeah, she has this exchange with Damon, and Damon is like, buy me a day. Like, I need a day.
Mhm.
Even though Jane has been saying all season that people in the Vale are talking about the Dragon Rider and the dragon in the Vale.
Yeah.
Like, ever since Rhaena claimed Sheep Stealer,
But wait, but she
commoners know that there's a dragon. But Rhaenyra doesn't know that her stepdaughter is flying a dragon around the Vale.
Commoners are talking of a wild girl who lives among the sheep and nettles.
Oh.
Did you want to combust into flames when you heard that? Because I wanted to combust into flames when I heard that. Jail immediately. Jail immediately. For the murders.
Yeah. This was the thing about this, and we'll get more into Rhaena's situation in a bit. The thing about the reason that this so upset me has very little to do with the fact that, it's like a jab at book readers who are all complaining online about not having nettles in the story.
Mm-hmm.
It had way less to do with that, because I do think that that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, they are trolling, which is a very weird thing for a writing staff to do. But what bothered me the most about it is that it's not a matter of they removed a character from the story and replaced that person, like gave that person's story to another person. It's the fact that they eliminated Nettles completely.
Yep.
And still found a way to marginalize Rhaena as a character in the story, even while positioning her initially to be like, they're going to give her Nettle storyline. And instead they just did neither. and
Yep.
they didn't give Reyna a storyline. They didn't give her Nettle's storyline. They didn't give her Reyna's actual storyline in the
Mhm.
books, which could have been like, for all of the time that we've seen Jane Eyre,
Mhm.
we could have gotten Reyna's mentorship, like Jane Eyre's mentorship of
Yes.
Reyna in the Vale as a politician,
Right. Exactly.
and a woman teaching another woman to be a, almost like, I mean, they could have done a less fucked up version of like Cersei Sansa,
Mhm.
because in the book, Reyna is in the Vale, lives a soft life, is what it said, but really she gets all of the training and all of the grooming, like necessary, not negative grooming, like she gets
Mhm.
groomed as a politician,
Right.
like
Mhm.
to go be effective after the war is over. And
Mhm.
instead they were like, what if we just like treated her like shit for 6 episodes and
Yeah.
she didn't do anything?
Mhm.
And the net result of her arc was literally nothing.
Literally nothing. And can I have a proposition.
Yeah.
Not only could they have simply given Reyna Nettles a storyline, if they really had to cut Nettles, if you really had to cut Nettles, which is
Right.
something I don't stand by, but if you had to cut Nettles out of the story, you had to use Reyna. Fine. Not only could they have given her Nettles a storyline, but they could have also given her Reyna's storyline with the same screen time they used, because they could have done a really interesting hidden princess story. They
Sure.
could have done a story of she goes to the Vale to do politics. While in the Vale, she and Sheepstealer, magic connection, Targaryens, etc. Right?
Yep.
She becomes a dragon rider in the Vale. She wants to go help with war,
Right.
but they don't want the crown doesn't want everyone to know that like all the Targaryen kids are on the dragons or some such thing. So she
Right.
creates secret persona, and like the crown is in on it, but she creates secret persona and is both Princess Reyna and Secret Nettles, the Sheepstealer's dragon rider.
Sure.
She could have like that would have been really interesting. A hidden princess story is a very interesting story. Martin even plays with this ship in the main books with hidden prince stuff and hidden princesses too. So it would have they could have easily done both of those things in the same screen time that they used for this shit instead.
Yeah.
You know? And what would we have lost? We would have lost Reyna being around when Jace died. Like Reyna and Sheepstealer didn't even kill Jace. It's not like Sheepstealer ate him, you know,
Right.
where it wasn't like Vhagar, you know. It was that Sheepstealer was like inconvenient, and then Jace flew too low, got shot down, and then got shot full of arrows by some guy.
Yeah.
So the blame is tangential at best.
And the further annoying part of all of that is which I know we didn't talk about like this in particular, but the annoying part of all of this is that they put all this blame on Reyna when the reason for Jace's death that's given in the books is that he's trying to save his brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason he flies so low is because he's trying to save them from the ship.
Yeah.
Or he's trying to save Viserys, I think, because Aegon is able to escape on his little dragon.
On Stormcloud, yeah.
Stormcloud. But Viserys is captured by the Triarchy, and it's a whole thing, right? Like, so I like it's annoying. It's like triply annoying because like there's no reason for Reyna to be getting all the shit. It also takes away the agency from Jace's decision to go for his brother, like to go save his brother. Right. So he doesn't die because he made a decision to like a selfless decision to try to save his brother. He dies because of an accident, like everything in the show, where everything is just like it's an accident and no one ever means to do anything. And all you effectively did, like putting Reyna in that position, hasn't added anything to her character, hasn't like they didn't go anywhere with it. So like all it was setting up was this scene that happens in a little bit of inexplicable dragon fight.
Dragon fisticuffs in the Vale.
Like dragon street fight in the Vale. And it just is, it's just very bizarre to me that the writers like, and this is where, like you said, kind of the sniffing their own farts thing is like, if you're trolling, the idea of trolling is like, well, look what I've done. All you people are bitching online and look at the amazing story that I wrote, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, is the story in the room with us? like,
I would
like,
like to meet the story, please.
I don't get the smugness when they failed to write something compelling, like given all of this time. Like they had the time to tell it and they just opted not to. And it almost feels like, especially when including a line like this, it genuinely feels like it was just pettiness.
It was pettiness. And what annoyed me about that line was that it gave me the idea of, oh, they should have done a secret hidden princess, because it would have made sense if then like the Aarons are spreading the rumor around the small folk, like, oh, it's some random girl named Nettles, huh? Like, do you get it? Like, she lives among the Nettles. It's definitely not our princess. Don't pay no attention to the missing princess behind the curtain. You know, that would have been interesting. But what's crazy about that too, two things, like meta things. They wrote that line about Nettles living among the Nettles and filmed it like a year and a half ago. So they knew that cutting Nettles was going to piss us off.
Right.
So they made a decision. It's not something
they wrote like last week.
Right. They're not like in response to it. They knew we were going to be pissed about it. And instead of thinking, maybe there's a good reason we expect the readers to be pissed about this, they just said, haha, we're going to make a silly little joke at you. This is more evidence I'm compiling for why I do not believe Ryan Condal, and I didn't believe him at the time, when he said during season 1 that they have the whole thing planned. They have 4 seasons all planned. They know where they're going. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And that's clear by the fact that your number of episodes changed. You wrote out Daeron in season 1 because you didn't plan on having him, and now you've written him back in and made him a huge part of this story.
Right.
And this whole, like you just didn't, I know you didn't plan these things. I know you didn't. So I don't know how anyone, if you had all 4 seasons planned and their arcs, could look at the Rhaena story and not just see the plot cul-de-sac and not just see what exactly you described. This has gotten us nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's going to get us nowhere. So, like, it's just a waste of screen time. It is burning through screen time. It is crazy how fast they burn through the screen time.
Yeah. No, and that's what, so this whole Jane Eyre, like the outcome of this whole Jane Eyre Daemon interaction is Jane Eyre buys him a day to do what exactly? Nothing, I guess, because Rhaena doesn't, like, he finds Rhaena just in time for it not to matter that he found her. Yeah. So anyways, the next scene we get is very weird and short. Baela and Adam are talking about something, blah 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 blah. Oh, well, if I could curry the favor of a princess, and she's like, oh, did your brother tell you that we had sex?
And then Adam's
like,
the most handsome man on the planet, goes, huh?
Yeah.
The man is gorgeous.
This is the thing. Gorgeous. That's the thing about this whole thing that is weird. Like, so they did 2 things. First off, I know that they are trying to set up Baela, like, spoilers for Fire and Blood, Baela and Alan end up together at the end of the story. The key differences, though, are that in the show, Alan is the older brother, but in the book, Alan is younger than Adam.
Yes.
Also crucially, Alan is not like 40 years old. No offense to Abubakar Salim, like, but they're teenagers in the book, and they are not just like grown men. They are like Clinton Liberty and Abubakar Salim are like 40 something. Now, so the other thing is that by the time Baela and Alan get together, they're legitimized. So it makes tons of sense that they get together, right?
Yeah.
And because the Velaryon, Targaryen thing, which is a thing that we will have to educate Ormond Hightower on apparently, because that's another thing that I've got. But so, but it doesn't make any sense in the show's canon. Why would Bela, who said explicitly to Corlys when he was like, maybe I should make you my heir, and she's like, I am fire and blood. Why the hell is she not going for like the dragon rider,
the extraordinarily attractive hot dragon rider she's spending all this time alone with? I don't know. I don't know.
No, I had sex with the ship captain.
I mean, I know which one I would pick, but I guess I'm not Bela.
And again, it's no disrespect to Abubakar Salim. Like,
no, not at all.
But it is strictly. It's just weird that Bela is like, she thinks very hot, like she was married to another dragon rider, talks exclusively about how being a dragon rider is like the thing, right? She's the daughter of 2 dragon riders, and like said explicitly in the show that she is of fire and blood. And like, why is she not interested in the dragon rider brother versus the ship captain brother?
This is just, again, more evidence that they did not plan ahead, because I would have bought Bela and Alan if they had planted the seeds for this, even just earlier this season, even before Jace's death. If Bela and Alan had always kind of had like a little like sexy thing going on, and then Jace dies, and it's like, oh well, guess who's dead now? My fiance, huh? You know,
right?
Like, I would get it, but they didn't. They could have done all these things. They write the show, but they just didn't. They said these are 2 black people in a room. They're in love. That's what I mean. That's what they said. That's what happened.
And I'm also like, okay, this is where there's so much I want to say, but like, in my mind, you have Bela and Adam who are doing all these patrols together, spending a lot of alone time, all this sort of stuff. Like, they have ample opportunity to have a romance of some kind, right? That could totally happen. So it's not like implausible that that happens. And knowing what we know, spoilers, but Adam is probably gonna die.
Yeah. Well, Adam's the dragon rider, and it's the Dance of Dragons, and the dragons don't do very well.
And so I don't know if they were just like, well, we can't have Bela's like 2 love interests die like back to back, because then she'll just be like a shell of a person, whatever, blah blah blah. But I think it's far more compelling if it's like Alan is like, Bela marries Alan out of like duty.
Oh yeah,
right, like that to me is more interesting. It also sets up the fact that like in book canon, Alan cheats on her a bunch, and like it's like a sham marriage, but
right. I mean, it's a political marriage, but also, why does any of this matter? Because that all happens after what is clearly going to be the end of this show.
Right. It doesn't matter in the show. I'm just saying that like, it just feels like they had opportunity for it to be the dragon rider, like the 2 dragon rider fledgling romance, and then it's like she lost Jace, who she clearly is over pretty quickly, so that's not really a problem for her. But it could give her a more tragic situation of like, now the love of like by choice, like that was an arranged marriage,
and that could also,
and now her love by choice is dead, and it's like more devastating to Bela.
And that could also be more interesting, like, you know, if like, let's say there's a battle that both dragons are in, and she like is trying to save him, and so she does something reckless, and maybe she gets injured or her dragon gets injured or something in trying to save him, you know. I think that would make sense. But why would we do anything in this television show that makes sense?
Speaking of
wait, can I just make one plug on the Valyrian stuff? Again, we plugged this last time on TikTok. There is like a whole slew of like incredible Black creators who've been talking about the treatment of the Valyrians. Rinstar, Feli, Princess Weeks. Go check them out because they cover this in great detail. And I do think this is like probably the treatment of the Valyrians, I think, will go down in history for this show as like an example of some of the like worst writing in television. Like it's like very bad. And one thing about Game of Thrones, the bad show, was just a little distance after the show ended. Suddenly, everyone realized how bad and problematic quite a lot of it was, particularly with the female characters.
Sure.
I have a feeling we're going to get a similar reaction when the show is finished, looking back on it and looking at all of the characters of color, primarily the black characters in the Valerian family, and how poorly they were treated by the narrative and on screen. So
Yeah.
strong recommend to go check out those creators and others on TikTok to get that
100%.
analysis. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that people learn the right lessons out of it, because I worry that people will learn the lesson of, well, you just, oh, well, you can't, can't win for losing. Like, we tried to race swap the characters and everyone got mad at us. When in reality, it's like, no, you race swapped because you thought you were checking a box, and
Right.
you weren't thoughtful about what these characters being black and having these specific things happen to them
Yep.
would say,
Mm-hmm.
because the racism in Westeros exists,
Yes.
and it is different than the racism of our regular world, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
Because it's different cultures and different, and they're, well, the cultures that perpetrated slavery did so sort of with equal opportunity to people of all races, as long as they were poor.
And slavery still exists in Westeros, and it's not racialized slavery.
Right.
It's just like whoever we can capture slavery.
But
Yeah.
but racialized slavery does exist, or did exist, in our world and in our country. And so when you do certain things with black characters, like, you're going to evoke images that are, if you're not thoughtful, can really, like, send the wrong message. Like, when a white lady slaps a black princess, that would never happen in any other context. It automatically is going to feel like the race is the reason that we're writing like this, even if that's not the writer's, like, intent.
Right. I forget who on TikTok said this, but I completely agree with this. I think that the combination of quote unquote, of Rhaena and Nettles only even occurred to the writers because they had cast the Valerians as black, and they thought, oh,
two birds, one stone.
Black princess, Nettles is described as a brown girl, combine. And it might have been Rin who said it. I forget who said it on TikTok, but genuinely, if the Valerians had been cast as, the super pale white blonde hair situation, like other Targaryens, would it have even occurred to the writers to combine those characters?
Probably not.
Right. They didn't combine Helena and Nettles.
Yeah.
You could come up with some weird way to do it. You could.
Yeah.
Like and HBO has this issue, and we've talked about this before. HBO's had this issue with race in their television shows, where, like you said, they check a box and say, "Look at how diverse we are."
Right.
Look at my black friend. I can't be racist. Look at my black friend. But then they don't think through. They don't write it correctly for those people, and it's unfair to the actors, because it's like, it is cool to have that representation. There's been scenes in the show where it's a fantasy dragon show, and everyone in the scene is a black character, and I love to see it. My eyes love to see it. The narrative doesn't make any fucking sense,
right?
And it really undermines everything because of that. So, I agree with you that I hope what people learn is, it is worth it to think about these things and to do it correctly, because it would strengthen the story if it was done correctly.
Yeah. And speaking of not doing things correctly, Alicent tries to introduce Aemond to his assassin, and this really got me, because Belak, why does every assassin in season 3 of House of the Dragon stand stock still and not take any action or try to surprise anybody ever? They just walk into the places where people are and
Mhm.
wait for the character to allow them to kill them.
Yeah,
Every assassin just kind of stands there waiting to be murdered.
because you have to understand what your expectation is for this assassin to be sneaky and try to hide and try to do classic assassin type stuff. But these assassins are subverting your expectations by just walking directly in and saying and holding their weapon and having their weapon on their person. That's what assassins do. And they're also subverting your expectations because you think they're gonna like get the jump on the person they're meeting after walking in and talking to him directly. You think they're gonna go like in the middle of a sentence, be like, "I brought Lady Alice here," and start killing people, but they don't, because they're subverting your expectation and being polite and not assassinating the person they were ordered to assassinate. So that's
Like,
really, I don't understand. Like, this is like eighth grade book reports. Why don't you follow what's happening?
right. What I think about this plan is Allison and Adrian Redford, I believe his name was.
Adrian, our boy Adrian, yeah.
They would have had the entire journey from King's Landing to Harrenhal to plan out what they were going to do of how to assassinate Aemond, but they hit the fast travel button and skipped that, and so they were like out of time.
Yeah.
And they didn't really have time to talk about it. So Allison just sort of improvised and was like, "Hey, so this is Adrian." And she's standing there like, maybe he'll kill him now. I don't know. And then Aemond kills the assassin. Not knowing that he's an assassin, and basically him giving no indication that he's violent at all. But he kills him anyway. Because he's being precautious.
He's so wild, and he can't trust anyone, and
but he's also right, like that. And that's the weird thing about the show, being
he
like,
is right.
Aemond's so unhinged and crazy, and it's like, that guy was there to kill him.
Also, this is on the heels of Allison being the world's worst actor, because like she comes in nervous as shit. She's like sweating. She's like holding her. She's like wringing her hands. She's like, "He helped me so much. He's really helpful. He made sure I lived, and he secreted us from the city. And he's the best. You're gonna love him. He's amazing. Come meet him right now." Like, for some reason, I came in the castle and left him outside.
Yeah, like what? What are we doing?
Also, the concept that she went from, oh Jesus Christ. She went from King's Landing to Harrenhal in the middle of a war zone.
Yes.
With one guy.
Yeah.
Not even a lady in waiting.
I've got big questions about what happens next for
Allison Hightower, the Queen Dowager, is not doing things like combing her own hair. She has ladies who do that for her. She can't travel alone with one dude. Also, the risk of sending her alone with one dude of the sexual assault, or of the rumor of sexual assault, or not even sexual assault, of sexual contact. Like, you can't know that you don't send a single woman and a single man places. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, and Kat even brought that up in her conversation with Hugh.
Yes.
In Tumbleton last episode.
Yeah, the last episode of this show. This one.
Where the road is so dangerous, like you don't know the shit that happened on the road or whatever. But Allison and Adrian Redford solo made that trip just fine and in record time.
You're right. They hit the fast travel button. You're right.
They actually went from King's Landing to Harrenhal in less time than it took Aegon, Larys, and Tywin Lannister to go from Rook's Rest to Maidenpool. Which Rook's Rest is like on the coast. They're going from like the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
Whereas Allison rode all the way into the Riverlands in less time than it took Aegon to make it to Maidenpool.
Why? This is a broad question. Why don't the the writers of any iteration of Game of Thrones TV shows care even a little bit about geography. Whenever
It
this
is odd.
happens, it's because they added some shit, right? Like whenever Littlefinger would teleport around, it was because they added some shit. Or like
Mhm.
John and all them north of the wall for the one long night with the magical raven. Like that was
Yeah.
all shit they made up. They
Yeah.
just said we don't care about maps. We don't like why? It's like you're writing the
Mhm.
show. You should care about the integrity of the universe you're writing in.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, what's really funny is that George, like, his sense of distance and time and all that sort of stuff is like spotty at best, right? Because
Yeah,
he's
there's
able to.
times, yeah.
There's times where it's like stuff is jumping around. The thing is that he's writing a book from characters' points of view,
Mm-hmm.
and like they are, yeah, stuff can happen in, either it's happening chronologically at the same time, or maybe this is happening before or after or whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but the story being told in that character's point of view and the point of views that impact that character are all going to make sense. Like,
Yeah.
and that's where it's like, yeah, you can jump around to different people, but if Alicent and Aegon are if they're traveling at the same time, or we're meant to believe that they're traveling at the same time, like making Aegon's journey take longer in the television show that you're making is stupid.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same. You can't just be like, oh, time matters here, doesn't matter here. We're jumping here. We're doing this. It's like, this is a concurrent story you're telling.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's
chronology does matter
also,
deeply.
I do think also chronology and faithfulness to it matters more in a visual adaptation because it's faster for us to watch.
Right.
Like it's a lot. Like I could watch all 3 seasons of House of the Dragon faster than I could read a Game of Thrones the book. Right. And when you're reading, Martin's times are not always perfect, but they're like good enough. They're like pretty. Like he makes efforts to make them make sense. There's nothing like super egregious like in any of these television shows.
No.
So it's like, yeah, these things, like we can see them. We can see how hard it is to. Every shot they had of somebody walking through the woods this episode, I thought of your Joker last week about how it's just the camera at 2 different angles, like when you're filming on TikTok, when you're talking to yourself.
Yeah, this side is Harrenhal, this side is Maidenpool.
It really is. It really is. It's the same trees every single time. And I'm like, man, they really did it all in one spot. But yeah, if you were going to send Alicent to Harrenhal, stupid idea. But if you were, you needed to have her leave at the last episode and arrive at the end of this episode.
Right.
That would have at least given it some credulity.
Right.
But they wanted to get to mommy fucking. So, sometimes you gotta get to that mommy fucking.
And like, the thing that just really baffles the mind is the fact that Rhaenyra would send away her probably second most valuable prisoner.
Yep.
Behind Helena.
To her son, who's in a stronghold.
Right. Why?
Vhagar is unknown his location.
This is the other thing. So Alicent has been absolutely willing to abandon her grandchildren. Like, she hasn't been willing to abandon Helena up to this point. But after that last failed escape attempt, and her protector is now dead, and yeah, Aemon's talking crazy shit about, I'm going to be king of Harrenhal and we're going to start a new line of kings and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, it's fucking weird. And like, you are free. There is nothing compelling. Like, you can just stay.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to kill him. You don't have to, like, there's literally nothing. Like, Rhaenyra has no way of now, like, or at least they haven't proven that they can go to Harrenhal and do stuff. Because if they could, they would have flown here and killed Aemon themselves, I'm assuming.
Which they should have done, but
which they also should have done.
And he's still the writer of Vhagar. Vhagar's not dead, as far as anyone knows. Vhagar
but
is
no one's seen Vhagar.
She took a sabbatical, okay? She'll be back. She put in for some PTO.
Yeah.
She said, I gotta go to the Summer Islands for a bit. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the whole, you know why it doesn't make sense? Because it's not something from the fucking books. So every time they try to do something on their own, they can't.
Yeah. It just
This
doesn't.
I'm saying they need just one nerd in the writing room. They need one obnoxious nerd who's going to yell at them for any change they make from the book.
Yep.
And then they have to really justify that change. And if they can, fantastic. And if they can't, and it's stupid like this, then they shouldn't write it this way.
Yeah.
But you know what else did not appear in this episode? Dragon eggs.
Right.
So I'm gonna.
Well, why would why would?
Well, my prediction is the dragon eggs don't ever appear again. The Harrenhal dragon eggs don't ever.
Which is a very good guess.
Yeah.
Like it's a very good prediction.
Yeah.
The next scene we get is Ormond dining with Corlys in Tumbleton, the abducted Corlys. This is a weird fucking scene. The thing that I found the strangest about it is Ormond, and I really like I do, based on all we've talked about, I just can't give the writers credit for doing this on purpose. Like I think they've wandered into this. Ormond asks Corlys, why do you associate with the Targaryens?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, Ormond. Do you think it has something to do with the centuries of history between the two houses going back to Valyria? Is that maybe a good place to start in terms of investigating why Corlys might be associated with the royal family? Like, what the fuck are we talking about? It's so so brain dead. And I'm just like, are they doing this to make Ormond look like a fucking moron? Because that is what I like. If I was giving the writers credit, I would say, oh, they have accomplished making this guy look like a jackass.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But I went back and forth between, I can't tell if they are trying to make him look stupid or if they are being genuine in him being like such a whatever Hightower supremacist that he asks a Valyrian why he associates with the other Valyrian house.
It's so stupid. Why would the Valerians, who were from Valyria, like to associate with Targaryens, the other house from Valyria?
Aegon's mom was a Valyrian. Like what?
Yes.
Like Aegon the First, the Conqueror.
Like, yes. Oh my god.
And Ormond, the history lover, has apparently forgotten that portion of his histories. He was too invested in Miriam Martell.
I think the writers wanted us to think Ormond had a point. That like, why do you care about these Targaryens? Like they're just like weird incest people. What's the deal? What's the deal with these Targaryens? You know, like I think that's what they were going for. I don't think they were trying to characterize him as stupid.
Yeah.
It would have been good characterization if it had been for that purpose. But and then he's like, oh, that's right, your wife. And it's like, okay, sure. Yeah. His wife and his children, but also like his entire family. What are you talking about? Like the whole thing. So it was especially stupid. And I think again, you watched the episode shortly after I did. So I got your stream of consciousness text messages. and you commented on this. You were like, what has Ormond talking about?
Yeah, well, it just this one really like got to me. Ormond also makes some comments about going vegetarian, which I thought was
yeah.
Anyways, yeah, there's just
weird.
And basically the conversation ends with Corlys, like predictably with Corlys being like fuck off. And which I think there's different things of I don't really understand why they did all of this if it wasn't going to lead to something. It seems like it was like is it just to put Corlys in Tumbleton for when this shit goes down? Like
it's to make him a prisoner, absolutely. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. And it's just again, it's one of those like contrivances where they're like, we need Corlys in Tumbleton and we don't really know how to fucking pull that off. So
So
he's
the
just
order
gonna
of
get
operations. The order of operations is
teleported there.
we're gonna make him the hand of the queen. Think in the middle of the war, it's really important for him personally to track down the stragglers from the Triarchy who landed after the Gullet.
Yeah.
And while doing that, one of Ormond's bowl cut guy is going to pop up and kidnap Corlys out of his own camp and bring him to Tumbleton. Profit. You know, like I feel like, you know, that meme of like Charlie with the strings, you know, everywhere. Like that's what this fucking show is. Like, what are you talking? Just do take that idea and don't do it. Just stop.
And it
take
doesn't
that idea and stop.
Yeah, it doesn't help that Ormond genuinely, like, ever since his first appearance when someone was like, oh my god, it's Dennis, they put Dennis from It's Always Sunny in House of the Dragon. Ever since I've seen that, like, I can't unsee it. So yeah, the Charlie meme is like particularly effective given that it's Always Sunny in Tumbleton.
It's Always Sunny. Please, someone do a fan cut of
the gang. Yeah, the gang also kidnaps Corlys Velaryon.
But like the fact that they've made the big bad guy of season 3 of House of the Dragon is Ormond Hightower.
Yeah.
What?
Without doing and again, like, without doing any of the stuff that's interesting about their whole thing, because like the caltrops and like all of these other little characters that are sprinkled in with Ormond, and like nobody really knowing exactly what goes down in Tumbleton because of like, but this group being whatever, you know, like causing a turn and doing a, like, there's just a lot of like plotting and scheming that they've given all of it, and they gave all of it to Ormond.
But that's not the one important thing happens in Tumbleton.
Yeah.
One. And they've yet to do it. I've been here I've been here for 8 episodes. It's been 84 years.
Yeah.
And it's like the Tumbleton is not that important. It's not a stronghold. It's not a castle. It's not like a major anything. It's just a place where one important event occurs. And then subsequently a second important event occurs later at the same location because of the fact that like the Riverlands is destroyed.
Right.
But like it's just a spot where that happens. It could have been any town. It could have been anywhere. It's kind of part of the point. So like their focus on it and wasting of time. They could have done 2 Tumbletons with this amount of time.
They could have.
They could have
done 3 Tumbletons. They could have done 3 Tumbletons.
Yeah. We could have just been tumbling the whole ton. Like, come on, we could have done way more. But this was the immaculate plan. So
Darren and Gwaine have a conversation. And I think these might be the only 2 real people in the show. Like, this is like a Truman Show where Darren and Gwaine are the only 2 real people and everybody else is a paid actor. Like, these are the only characters that still feel like real people. And I don't love every decision that they've made with Darren, because I think they again are doing sort of like what's the least interesting version of this character. Because I think they've done that a lot of like, what if everything in Fire and Blood was sensationalized and none of the interesting parts were actually what happened. Like, I think that's maybe the original sin of this show, is like nothing interesting has ever happened, and it's all like all of it is mundane. And Darren the Daring is just a nickname he got from because Ormond's trying to start a campaign for him to become president. And so anyways, they talk about the fact that and Darren does, you know, what any sympathetic character in a Game of Thrones show is supposed to do, which is say that they don't want it. And what if I just ran away?
Oh man, I didn't even realize he doesn't want it.
He doesn't want it.
He must be king.
Yeah. So anyways, like there's that scene, and it's like, oh, you could fly away on your dragon or whatever. And Gwaine has to remind Darren that he has a dragon.
Yeah, do you remember?
Yeah. Do you remember? Hey, remember a couple of episodes when you killed a guy
That guy you killed. Remember that time you killed that guy?
and then nothing happened after that? Like with
Yeah.
that or anything? Like you didn't get cruel or anything like that? Like he didn't change at all?
You don't remember how you don't feel bad about it, you never think about it and never mention it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. So then we get Rhaenyra's small council scene, which I say, what is the fucking point of her small
Right.
council? They don't do anything.
Yep.
Wastes all of them. Even Maester Orwyle is worthless in this scene. Which he's been one of the few useful characters in Rhaenyra's entourage up to this point, but even all he can say is that I think he makes an inadvertent pun about Daemon was running an errand to Jane Eyre.
Oh, no, the writers are not that clever. No.
And then we get the scene that I like to call "Look Who's Coming to Dinner," and that's Alicent is at dinner with Aemond and Alice.
Listen, when your mother-in-law comes over, no one's ever, even the very nice mother-in-laws, no one ever really wants, when your mother-in-law's over, your mom's over, your house, it's weird, you can't do your normal stuff.
Right. You just you get out of routine.
Yeah.
You can't be a goat as much or a barn owl as much as you want.
Yeah. It's especially weird when you have a giant round table, but you're all side sitting each other for some reason.
Yeah, that was. Oh man, that would have been so much funnier if they're doing close in shots of them all talking or whatever, and then it goes wide and they're literally sitting on opposite ends of this gigantic table. like Alicent is sitting nowhere near them. Anyways, Alicent, I think out loud asks, "Who is this woman?"
Yes. She said, "I don't like your girlfriend."
And Aemond, very even keeled in his decision making, is like, "This is my new wife and she's gonna be the queen." Because the blood purity guy is like, "I'm marrying a mud witch now."
Yep. Yeah. And she's gonna help. We're gonna have so many Targaryen babies, and Alicent is like,
"And I'm gonna hatch 1,000 dragons."
Alicent's like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah. She's like, "You know what? I need to kill this guy."
Yep.
Which is a really crazy thing for a mom to decide at dinner. And it's just funny that up to this point, she's happy. She's been happy for him to die, whatever, but she's also played a passive role in this whole thing. She goes outside and fetches Adrian Redford's knife and is like, I'm gonna fucking stab him.
Yeah.
And instead sees Nightshade, which Helena taught her about. The caterpillars were eating the Nightshade, and she's like, well, no, I can just poison him.
Yep.
And she decides yeah, I'm gonna kill him. I have to kill him. Not necessarily I don't really know is she driven to it by that dinner? Is it
I didn't see that.
He can't marry this woman. He needs to go.
I don't know. I don't think the dinner had anything to do with it. I think she was just looking for a way to finish the task that Rhaenyra sent her on. It would have been interesting if something had spurred her to it. If she had, say, a scene with Alice by themselves, where Alice expressed her own desire for power and her desire for how she and Aemond are going to use violence to take over, etc. Then and we will burn the land until they submit or some such bullshit. Yeah. And then Alicent was like, "Oh, absolutely the fuck not," and that would have been really cool. That's not what I got on my screen.
No. So yeah, so she decides to kill him,
and she puts the Nightshade in the most obvious spiced wine cup and walks into his room and said, "Hello, son. Hello, son. I
It's
have come with spiced wine that you liked as a child. You drink this one. I drink this
right. Yeah. Let's drink you from your glass and or me from
one.
my glass and you from
You from your
yours.
glass.
Princess
Drink.
Bride.
Yes.
Uh yeah, this is very weird. It's also weird kind of how I don't know. Like the thing that's been kind of eating at me is the idea that one, it's insane that she got sent on this errand to begin with, but the casual way that she is like, you know what? Passive role, active role in kinslaying, who
Yeah,
cares?
it'll be fine.
It's just a big leap to take for a person who made a big deal about being very religious last season
Mhm.
and the season prior. I'm pretty sure like it's been a big part of her character that she's really religious, but like kinslaying is probably one of the most like uh you know taboo things you can possibly do,
Mhm.
even given what is depicted earlier in this episode.
I mean, if they wanted to make it make sense, which they don't, as evidenced by their television show, if they wanted to make it make sense, Alicent has been consistently characterized as someone whose favorite child is Helena
Yeah,
and who wants to specifically save Helena, right? Like she's
yeah,
going on this little quest because she's being told to in order to save Helena's life, ostensibly. If Helena's pregnancy was in fact not Aegon's, but was from Aemond assaulting her, and Helena had said that to mom, if she had said like if Helena had been like, you have to drink the moon tea, it's his heir, and if Helena had been like, it's not his heir, and it had been that Aemond had attacked Helena and had been attacking Helena, and Alicent didn't know,
yeah.
motivation to kill him right there on
Yeah.
the table.
Oh, that's so much better.
But yeah, no, we didn't do that.
You don't need there people don't need motivations to do stuff. People just do stuff randomly. That is how people
Especially
work.
not killing their own children. No, they
Yeah.
don't need motivation. When they think that at least one of their children is dead already, they don't need
Yeah.
they don't need that. No.
No.
Yeah.
Um yeah, really insane. And my question in the aftermath of this is where is Alicent going? Cuz she
Does
like takes
does
off.
Allison think that Alice is gonna be chill about it? And yeah, where is Allison going? It's like cold out. You can't
And are you going to
there's
walk back
not
to
stuff
King's Landing?
around. Yeah.
Like what are you going to do?
Oh my god, she's gonna go to Tumbleton.
That's really the crazy. Like I don't get what her plan is now because like how is she planning to survive a journey anywhere? Um because now she attacks somebody in Harrenhal, which means you can't fast travel when enemies are nearby.
Oh
And
yes, that's
so
true.
she
Yeah.
won't be able to just teleport back to King's Landing
Mhm.
because Aemond is now considered hostile. So she has to escape far enough away to where she can fast travel again.
No, no, I'm silly ass, silly ass. No, this is what's going to happen next episode. Alicent did not, in fact, leave Harrenhal, even though we saw it on the screen with our eyes. She's going to still be at Harrenhal, but then Aemond's going to be magically alive, and she's going to be shocked.
Which, yeah, we can talk about. Well, let's just talk about that now.
Mhm.
Aemond, so she poisons him. Later in the episode, Aemond stumbles in to Alice's room doing the whole like help me
Yeah.
again. We just had that a few episodes ago, but um I found this really strange because they've been doing a lot of the like fake out death stuff,
Mhm.
and it's obvious that this was going to be a fake out death. Like I think we all know that Aemond is not going to die from poison or whatever like in
Yeah.
this, but I found it highly stupid that they treated it as like a comedic beat
Mhm.
when he got poisoned by his mom.
With deadly nightshade.
like his mother decided to kill him.
Is there
And
even an
like
antidote
just
for
because
Nightshade?
and like just because Alice is gonna magic her way out of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that to me, like downplaying the significance of the decision taken by Alice being like idiot or whatever,
Yeah.
like, and it being clear that he's gonna live. It just to me like minimizes the gravity of the decision, because it isn't going to work, number one, but number
Mm-hmm.
two, like it just doesn't confront the fact that it was a mother trying to kill her son.
Yep.
um yeah, like, and I just don't understand what happens next, because Eamon now is going to be like, holy shit, my mom tried to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, like, what do you do from there, right? Like, it's not like she can just come back and be like, oops, sorry, I had no idea, I thought that was just spices for the wine.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he could also it could cause a rift because he could not believe Alice and believe Alice. I don't know. There's like a million ways.
Yeah,
This show doesn't make any fucking sense. They could just forget about it next episode. They could just all have amnesia.
they just go back to dinner,
Yeah.
and they're
They
just in a Groundhog Day time
Whitney.
loop.
Yeah.
Alice has them trapped in a time loop.
Genuinely.
Yeah. um so then we get this scene between Aegon and Tyland and Laris, and they're walking towards Maidenpool, and they're alerted to the fact that Lord Mooten is marching from Maidenpool with a force. And they decide, like, well, Tyland decides, like, they're hunting for me somehow. I don't know how anyone knows that Tyland is alive, because we don't even know why Tyland is alive. But they're apparently sent by Rhaenyra to search for him, even though Rhaenyra, like, and this is the inconsistency. Rhaenyra apparently knows Tyland is alive, but doesn't know where Daemon is, doesn't know what's happened to Corlys, her hand, like, doesn't know why that Ormond is behind the murders of the Gold Cloaks in King's Landing, doesn't know, like,
doesn't know that Rhaena is like there is still a rider on Sheepstealer.
Yeah, doesn't know that it's Rhaena, and that Rhaena never reached Pentos like she was supposed to.
How do they not acknowledge that Rhaena never? It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy.
So, like, there's a bunch of but she somehow knows that Tywin Lannister survived the Battle of the Gullet, despite the fact that, like, he definitely should have died.
Okay, well, listen, his armor had floaties in it, you know, like those little floaties.
Yeah,
it actually wasn't armor. He was just wearing all floaties.
It was foam. It was a cosplay. It was just a cosplay.
It was Eva Craft foam.
Yeah,
and it floated.
And it floated. So anyways, they decide to make a stand, or that, like, they're not going to run away, and Aegon is tired of running away, and if he dies, he dies. And Laris is like, yeah, that's cool. I'll make sure that people sing songs of your memory because I'm out of here.
Laris does the SpongeBob meme, and he goes, all right, I'm about to head out.
Yeah. which this was weird to me, because so last episode we got this, like, scene where Aegon was being a judge of character for once in his life, and makes the decision to go to Braavos based on the fact that Laris told him the truth, that he's a piece of shit, and Tyland was equivocating and trying to appease him by being like, oh, we're all, we all have stuff we can improve on or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he sides with Laris. But this episode, Laris leaves, and Aegon is like, thanks for everything, but goes with Tyland, and Tyland is positioned as this, like, noble person, like, as this noble guy, because he's like, well, I won't let Aegon face this army alone, like, because it's meant for me and all this other stuff. And I'm like, then what was the fucking point of that other conversation where he sides with Laris and not Tyland? Like, I just didn't. I'm like, okay, so that obviously, like, didn't matter. And at the first opportunity, Laris bounces, which I also was like, if Laris has gone through all of this trouble to, like, sneak Aegon out of the city,
Mm-hmm.
he goes through all these like perils with him of keeping him alive and all of this other stuff. And then Aegon just makes a decision like, no, I'm going to go die. And Larys is like, okay, cool. Bye. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't get, like, what was the point of anything that Larys did this whole time of getting Aegon out of the city? Like, why is he done with Aegon? And why is he not like, no, Your Grace, you are coming with me, because
Mm-hmm.
he's got this control of Aegon, and now he has basically conceded his control of the one person that he had some
Right, that he
in
like put
with.
all of his eggs in the singular basket of
Yeah.
Aegon. I don't know what's happening here. I don't really understand it. In the books, Aegon is whisked away, and after King's Landing is taken, and he ends up all the way at Spicetown, which is sort of past where Driftmark is, looking for a ship to flee. I mean, like he gets all the way to Spicetown. Like he gets pretty far.
Yeah.
And while he is in Spicetown, the rumors of a golden dragon at beneath the Dragonmont at Dragonstone reach him.
Right.
And so then he turns around and goes to Dragonstone instead, because he hears rumors that Sunfire's alive, basically.
Right.
So it's not this great, like, I shall make my stand and be king or some such thing. It's just like the happenstance of that his dragon was not in fact dead, and he was able to reunite with that dragon because people were chatting about the dragon, on the golden dragon they saw, as people are wont to do. So I don't know. A lot of people have been praising the actor who plays Aegon for his portrayal, and I think actually most of the actors are doing a very good job in the show, and him included. But I think actually, oh gosh, what's his name? Our friend on TikTok who does
Ronnie,
yeah, did a good TikTok on this about like, you can't now in season 3 make me want to side with Aegon when you introduced him as a rapist who watches child fighting rings.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I agree. And a man who continues to do violence. The one consistent character trait of him is that he continues to do violence constantly. His Rhaenyra's response to things is to try to avoid violence. Aegon's response to things is to do violence, including in this episode. So I don't know. My guess is next episode, Clubfoot is still around. That Larys is just still there. I think there's a lot of things they're going to forget from this episode for next episode.
Oh, and some of which they'll have to forget, because I don't know how they'll pull off what I think they're going to do next episode with some of the things that happened in this episode. But anyways, I think it's a little bit, the idea that Aegon is positioned as this like redemption arc, but they haven't actually had him do anything redemptive. Like I mean, what's he done? Like he acted subservient at one point, was pissed off about it the whole time, and then killed the guy who made him like do that. He murdered him basically in cold blood.
He was sad that one time about his child being murdered in his bed.
Right.
He was sad that one time.
A child that is likely the product of, I mean, Helena's not depicted as a willing partner of Aegon.
Yeah.
So
it's at least coercion at minimum.
Right. At best.
At best,
so
it's coercive, yeah.
So it's just like, I don't, and that's the thing. Like, I think, Ronnie made the point that it's like, if you position the guy as like comically evil at the beginning of the show, and then you decide like, oh wait, people really like Tom Glencarney, the actor who plays Aegon, we're going to give him a bit of a redemption arc, and this should have felt like the villain, right? Like the nearly defeated villain gaining, like there's, oh my god, like how many animes can you think of right off the top of
Right.
your head where the nearly defeated villain gets a hold of some power or regains their
Hmm.
sword or gem or like whatever that gives them the ability to then fight the hero again.
Yeah,
um
Light Yagami touches the Death Note and remembers everything.
exactly, like this should have felt like a triumphant moment for a villain.
Yes.
Like, and his like the way that Sunfire is disfigured and his own like physical
Mhm.
disfigurement is supposed to represent, I think, in the books, like his, like it's representing his internal, like just how bad of a person he is, right? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
right, where
Oh,
it's like
absolutely.
his
Yes.
his like appearance is representative
Mhm.
of like the like ghastly crimes that he's done. And I'm not saying that people who suffer from injuries and disabilities and things deserve what's coming, have some divine retribution or
No, no,
something,
no.
but it's a thematic like
Aegon's a
thing in the book
fictional
of
character. Yeah, Aegon
Aegon.
is
Aegon
fictional, and it's
is a
meant for metaphor. Yeah.
horrible fictional character,
Hmm.
whose like outward appearance basically takes on his inward appearance of he
Right.
is a horrible man,
Right.
who
And
does
it's
ghastly things.
yes, and his appearance and the various ways in which he becomes disfigured during the war is not only an external expression of his internal badness, but also a larger metaphor for the monarchy itself,
Right,
and the crumbling of the monarchy and the actual weakness of the monarchy, and the
right.
fact that monarchy is bad. Did you know monarchy is bad?
Yeah, the
Uh,
fall of the House of Usher.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So I I I have many thoughts on this. So Aegon, the thing about it that is confusing me is that the Dance of Dragons really is a tragedy. And as written in Fire and Blood, it's really apparent, at least to me on page, even though the Maester is biased in favor of Aegon and the Greens, uh,
Right.
that the blacks, the Aegon and the Greens were in fact usurping. They were in fact doing a bad thing
Yeah.
under regular monarchy. They were usurping the rightful ruler. Um, and it's apparent in the various actions that happened leading up to and during the war that Aegon is not like a suitable ruler, and that's
No.
part of the physical disfigurement he suffers being a metaphor for
Right.
a literary trope, or literary tool rather. So the show, like weirdly enough, has written him pretty consistently as cruel, violent, sexually violent, physically violent, emotionally violent. Like he has continuously been violent. And we see here in the final scene with him and Sunfire, when he gets his dragon, he doesn't think like, let me run away. He's like, let me burn all of these people to death.
Right.
And I saw that and I'm like, this is a consistently written character. And I'm actually
For
surprised to
sure.
have this on my dragon show.
Yeah.
I'm really concerned with how they're going to land the ship, because I don't know how they land the ship this way. If they land it where I think it's landing, I worry, because I mean I do think that's a pretty accurate adaptation of the Aegon character from book to screen. No one else is particularly accurate, but I think that the Aegon character is pretty accurate. But I worry that they don't understand this as a tragedy.
Right.
This is watching Hamlet, not watching A Midsummer Night's Dream.
Right.
Like it is supposed to be sad.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's not bittersweet.
Yeah.
It is sad. And I don't know that HBO can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and that is like, I think there's there's a way to tell this story that leaves hope for the future, because there is like essentially the aftermath and the Aegon the Third and Rhaena and Bela like represent like, oh, there is still like, even despite all of the horrible things that the Civil War produced and the death and destruction and all this stuff, like morning still comes, right?
Yes.
Like that is so there is this big metaphor in here of like, it is not the end of the world, like it is, you know, and society and all these things will recover. So you can still tell like a hopeful story. Unfortunately, like they can't tell that one. At least not, they've written themselves out of that possibility. So it just is a little bit weird that like they could still have that hopeful ending. They've just decided to tell a different story, and now I don't know how you end on something that isn't just like bleak.
Yeah.
Without being like, but remember, Game of Thrones still happens after this, so like it's not all bad.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. And I think we'll need to return to this conversation obviously as we get season 4 and see how they ultimately end it. But they would need, I've been a fan of their general characterization of Rhaenyra, not as much this season, but I liked their more complex characterization of Rhaenyra in season 1.
Yeah.
I think, as opposed to just like, and she's evil, but I don't know if or how they make that heel turn
right
on her, if they bother. And if they don't bother, there are problems. These writers are not good enough to do this. That's the problem. That's like, they've proven repeatedly that they cannot be trusted to do this nuance.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, because they were hitting on some nuance in season 1. I was excited about it.
Yeah.
But they got themselves distracted.
Speaking of a lack of nuance, it's time to talk about when Daemon finds Rhaena, and then,
oh my god, I forgot about all this.
Is immediately discovered by
the episode
Adam
never ends.
and Rhaenyra.
Okay, can I just say, because we were talking about maps before.
Yeah.
How big the Riverlands is. The Riverlands is so big that Arya Stark spends like 5 books trying to walk across it. Like, it is massive. It's a huge, huge area.
Yeah.
The concept that these dragons just stumble upon each other is stupid.
Yeah.
It's real dumb. Real dumb. But I guess they all get their GPS locations. They share, they airdrop their location and all get together. What do you think of this?
This really pissed me off. I got really upset about this. Number one, I got upset because it's like, oh my god, like they really are abandoning the Nettles storyline as a concept. Like they're just not doing it.
Well, Daemon teased it. Daemon's like, what if we go together and search for Vhagar? And I'm like, and then they said nope.
Which, like, there have been a couple of people who in my comments, because this is the thing that out of the whole season, this is the thing that's just like really gotten to me, only because, again, if you're choosing to not adapt something, what you adapt should be good, like, or better for it, right? And they just made it all worse, and I don't really understand why. There are some people who are suggesting like, oh, I think Rhaena's going to escape the Red Keep and find Sheepstealer, and then her and Daemon are going to run away and go find Vhagar.
If she's able to
my
escape
thing
the Red
is,
Keep, yeah.
Why would you do, if that is the case, why would that not have happened this episode? Like, why did, like, because I honestly would have been, I would have been a little confused, because I think it draws, and this is where I'll talk about the Daemon, the Daemon of it all. Daemon. So if Daemon finds Rhaena and is like, we've got to go because I can't keep your secret any longer unless we fucking leave.
Yeah, we got skedaddle.
And they get on their dragons and they go, let's go hunt Vagar together. Right. We're going to go do that. That to me would have been a better outcome for the scene than what happened.
Yes.
The Daemon thing, and the reason that this was very confusing to me is season 2, the entirety of season 2 for Daemon is coming to the slow realization that Rhaenyra is vital to this prophecy that he is just learning about.
Yeah.
And he even like thinks that like he knows that there's some connection between Rhaenyra's line of like being on the throne and preventing this apocalypse.
Yes.
Why spend an entire season of television setting up Daemon's loyalty to Rhaenyra to only have it last like 3 episodes?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get why. Like, I understand why he would be invested, like wanting to protect Rhaena and all this stuff. But why did we spend so much time saying like, nope, Daemon is 1000% like ride or die for Rhaenyra now because he's seen that she is vital to the prophecy.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. There's so much plot holes here. It's like fucking Swiss cheese. This thing. This is a lace doily of plot, and I'm looking at the pattern saying I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah. And it doesn't even make like a cool snowflake or something.
It's not even a cool pattern. It's just holes. And I'm saying, what is happening?
Yeah.
There's so many issues. So you're absolutely correct. We spend a whole fucking season digging around in Harrenhal so that Daemon can realize Rhaenyra is really important. Then he encounters his daughter as the rider of Sheepstealer, who is for some reason blamed for Jace's death. Okay.
Sure. And everybody, including people who weren't there, accept that as what happened. Like, anyways.
Sure. Absolutely. Sure, Jen. Okay. Well, let's take that premise at face value. So then he is with the dilemma of, do I go with my dragon riding wife, who's also the queen and sovereign, and who I think is tied to a magical prophecy to save the world, or do I go with my daughter, who I don't really know?
Right.
And who I have kind of neglected.
Yeah.
And suddenly Daemon discovers that like he cares about fatherhood. And I'm sorry, it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. And there's a million ways they could have written this better. If he had gone to the Riverlands and found out it was Rhaena and, stayed there with her to help her train the dragon, and they bonded at that point, and he felt the protection over her, and then he's like, shit, now I really am torn between the two. There's ways they could have done it. The other underlying problem here was made apparent in this episode, which is that the obvious solution to this problem is for Daemon to tell Rhaenyra, hey, I found out who Sheepstealer's rider is. You're going to want to sit down for this one.
Yeah.
It's my kid, Rhaena. Can we be cool? It was an accident.
Yeah.
And you know what Rhaenyra would have done? She would have been fucking cool about it.
She was.
Because she was cool about it here. She's like, Is that Rhaena? When she said, this ends now, I thought she was going to like eat her or something like that. And I was going to be like, okay, I kind of could follow that. I could track that. And then she just takes her onto her own jacket. She's like, sweetie, we're going home. Let's go.
Yeah.
And it drove me crazy too, because I hate like miscommunication trope. No one in that whole circle said to Rhaenyra, it was an accident.
Right.
Someone even Daemon should have just said, Rhaenyra, it was an accident. Call up your dragon. It was an accident. She didn't mean to hurt Jace.
Yeah.
Like, Sheepstealer isn't well trained. This was a whoopsie.
Yeah.
But instead they just stand around and stare at each other all hunched over. All they're like, is that Rhaenyra? Is that Rhaenyra? Oh my God. Call up your dragon. And it's so unnecessarily dramatic. So the premise of Daemon having to keep this secret is flawed. Yeah. Because he should know Rhaenyra is not choosing violence.
Right.
He's been yelling at her about not choosing violence specifically.
Yep.
So why is he worried?
Yeah. And I also like I can't think of a reason that the dragons fight.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why the dragons fight each other. Um
Yeah, because neither Cerax nor Sea Smoke were at the gullet, so they didn't encounter Sea Smoke before. Neither was Caraxes.
because and correct me if I'm
Not Sea
wrong.
Smoke. I'm sorry, Sheep Stealer before. Sheep Stealer before. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Sheep Stealer is attacked by Cyrax first
Yes.
in this scene.
Yeah.
So, and this is where my confusion comes in. I could even allow for they tell Reyna to get like to come over here or whatever, and Sheep Stealer out of protection for its rider
Mm-hmm.
attacks one of the other dragons, and
Mm-hmm.
the other dragons respond in kind, right?
Yeah.
Like I'd even allow for that. Like what I saw in this was like it felt genuinely inexplicable. Like it like the dragon fight happened because they wanted the dragon fight to happen in the show. Like that's I was very out of the show at that point. Like I just wasn't. I was like, I don't understand why. Like I can't think of a reason in world like why this is happening.
Yeah, the dragons read the script and knew. I mean, if you want to like be really, really generous, which I don't want to be, you could say that Cerax, who's connected to Rhaenyra, felt Rhaenyra's rage, and so she attacked. But then Rhaenyra took Rhaena onto the back of Cerax to escape. So
right,
it's like it doesn't track, and they all jump poor Sheep Stealer. And I mean, I thought for like a hot minute that they were going to kill Cerax this way.
I thought so too for a second.
Yeah, but then no dragons died, and
yeah.
Well,
and it's like Sheep Stealer limps away, severely wounded.
Mm-hmm.
Unclear what's going to happen. But now Reyna is back at the Red Keep. And there is a brief scene between her and Baela where Baela's like,
"Oh, it's all good."
Not really. Like she's kind of like, get over it, but also everything's fine. So like, there's no reason to be upset.
Baela's like, I have a new boyfriend. It's okay.
Yeah. I don't know if Ellen told you, but we're having sex.
I met him on Targaryen Tinder
because I expect him to tell everybody that I talk to.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is like a full plot cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the thing is like Reyna ends up like no dragon back here. I don't know. There could be, like I said, I guess something could happen in the finale. I just don't understand what it would be and why you would have done all of this if the goal is for her to end up back on Sheep Stealer for whatever reason. Like there's just I don't buy it.
Well, even in terms of like how it affects other characters. The episode was so fucking long.
It was.
There's so many scenes. And nothing happened. So Rhaenyra then takes this information that Daemon lied to her about the identity of Sheep Stealer and is mad at Mysaria about it, which makes no fucking sense.
Right.
And Rhaenyra, I believe Rhaenyra would be like, I get it, that's your kid. Like you're protective of your kid. But Queen Rhaenyra, the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, would also say, Daemon, I get that's your kid, but you still chose her over me, your queen. You can't do that. You're not allowed to choose your child over me, your queen. I am the sovereign. You must choose me. Otherwise, you have betrayed me. That was treasonous for what you did. I get it. I'm not going to eat you with my dragon. But now things between us have permanently changed, and I don't trust you as much, and/or you need to re-earn your loyalty to me. Go fight Vhagar. Whatever. Like there should have been very fairly strife between the two of them from this, based on the fact that he keeps treating her like his wife and his equal when she is not. She is his queen.
Right.
And that has been built up in this season, and this would have been a place where they could have explored that, but they did not.
They have this like very brief scene where Daemon, I don't know if it's implied that Daemon is trying to like sleep with Rhaenyra, and she says
like
it's late.
Yeah.
It's late. And it's like, oh, okay, so you get put in like timeout, in like sex timeout because I'm mad about you lying or whatever. And it's like, is that the stakes of this? Like, I don't think so, right? Like,
also, like, he goes in to talk to her. He wants to talk to her privately, but she like keeps her handmaid there.
Right.
And so instead of talking, he still wants to talk to her privately, obviously. Like, he keeps looking at the handmaid like he wants to speak to Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
So he decides to continue speaking in the common tongue instead of, man, I wish they had a language only the two of them spoke.
Huh. If only.
Like, of all the times to break out the Valyrian, Daemon, it's right now.
Right.
At this moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does seem like she's like, they're having like a quarrel. And then Rhaenyra is mad at Mysaria because...
Well, she should be mad at Mysaria for being a shitty Mistress of Whispers, but that's not why she's mad. She's like, you're manipulating me. And then Mysaria is accused of manipulating Rhaenyra by Rhaenyra. Yeah. And then Mysaria successfully manipulates Rhaenyra into having sex.
Yeah, and then Mysaria says, I'm going to stand next to you.
But you're so gay. Cool and hot.
Yeah, and you're so gay.
And she's like, you're manipulating me. And she's like, but you're hot and should be the queen.
And she's like, her to what end? Manipulating her to do what? That's what I mean.
Like, that's what I mean. Like, there's not, and this is again, it's like, if they had successfully driven, like, if they had really landed that she doesn't trust Daemon because of this, right? Which they didn't do. They basically allowed her to let Daemon slightly off the hook and be like a little mad at him. But if they had successfully done that, then this like having sex with Mysaria is essentially a rejection of Daemon, right? Like if you land the plane on the Daemon stuff.
Right.
But all it seems like now is her like not having sex with Daemon and choosing to have sex with Mysaria, but not to any like actual consequence.
Right. Also, she's the queen. She can have sex with who she wants to. Like,
right.
I've seen people on the internet be like, I can't believe she cheated on Daemon. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Her uncle husband? You're shocked?
Yeah.
Like, also, as a side note, people have also been defending the show, saying that they cut the Nettles storyline because the showrunners did not want to introduce infidelity between Daemon and Rhaenyra. And I'm like, the Nettles storyline is not necessarily a sex storyline. That is what the Maester thought, because that's all the Maester thinks a man could be talk to a woman for. Just to plug my pet theory from Fire and Blood for why Daemon ends up going with Nettles and how to train your dragon with Nettles for a while. Then they go search for Vhagar together. That's the plot that we didn't get in the show. That happens just post Tumbleton. And book Tumbleton, there are some dragons that we no longer have after it. And so Daemon takes one of their remaining dragons very closely under his wing.
Yeah.
Right. Under his wing. Get it?
Right.
And trains her and the book tells us he trains her not only in how to fly the dragon, but how to be in court and how to be a lady and how to dress and how to wash and all these things, because he's trying to bring her into the fold so that she remains loyal to their side.
Right.
That does not require any sexual contact.
No.
That is just how to train your dragon montage.
And you could
write it romantic if you wanted to, but you don't have to. So.
Oh, they could have even. Oh my God! I just like the things that could have been. Like, picture a world in which Daemon does go off with Nettles to train her because of the betrayal of the dragon seed, like of the couple of dragon seeds that is going to happen. he goes to train Nettles and spends time like training like on this all of this stuff. You could also then show Reyna and Bela being like having conversations about the fact that their dad is being more of a father, like is off with this girl, and maybe even, you know, the reports are that, oh no, he's like, yeah, he's just like training her on how to like, and they're like, what the fuck? Like, we didn't get this shit. Like, we never got this side of Damon, right? Like,
Yep.
And then you could have a confrontation where Bela or Reyna are telling him, no, you're a fucking piece of shit because you like abandoned us our whole lives and left us, like, you know, and you're paying more attention to this common girl than like you ever paid to us and whatever else. And he could, you know, give his justifications for doing so. But it just like, that would mean that there's like characters making decisions and having tension because of the decisions that they make, and not just like,
yeah,
because they're supposed to.
It would be great. In the alternative universe where that version of the show exists. I wish I lived there. But this is the show that was promised. Not the show that never was.
Right. Yeah, the show that never was. If you can believe it, there's more scenes in this, but
there's so many things and nothing happens. How do they do that? We'll have to talk about that after the finale. I want to study how they spend so much time doing so little. It's amazing. It's a talent. It's a skill.
Well, I think we've talked about the fact that like everybody thought coming into this season, like, oh my God, this season is just gonna, like, the next 2 seasons are gonna have to be like basically non-stop, like big events if we want to get to the end. And literally 2 things have happened: the Battle of the Gullet and Kristen Cole, like at the Butcher's Ball. That's it.
And the Butcher's Ball was like very short too.
It was like the opening scene, like of what I'm sure was a 47 scene episode. So yeah, like literally 2 sort of major events have happened in the season so far, and one is now going to happen, which I'm assuming, I don't know, what do we call it? Tumbleton 3, because it's going to be 1 and 2 combined.
Yeah, Tumbleton 1.5.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's been very weird that this season, like I was expecting this season to be primarily plot, because there's just a lot of plot to get through.
I would expect the television show to have primarily plot.
And instead it's been kind of wheel spinny, like episode or like season 2 was, right? Where season 2 was very much like not much happened from the major events of the story. And I just don't know how you can possibly, like, if season 4's pace is anything like this, then we straight up will not get like most of the events of the dance in the whole show of House of the Dragon. Like, like an adaptation of the dance won't contain most of the stuff that happens in the dance.
Unless they do like certain events simultaneously. So like timeline wise, the God's Eye and the Dragon Pit and like the Moon and the Three Kings
all kind of happen.
Yeah, so my pet theory is actually that as the God's Eye is happening, Helena is doing her thing in King's Landing.
Yeah.
Because there's quite significance there to the 3 dragons, that kind of thing. So, and then that is what sparks the storming of the Dragon Pit. I mean, that's questionable, but that happens just before the storming of the Dragon Pit.
Right.
So you could have a really intensely packed episode and do major events together in a way that would be visually interesting.
True.
But I don't think you have to do that. I think maybe you should have spent better time in these episodes here that we had already.
Yeah.
And I think part of this pacing issue the feeling of it being spinning is the fact that we have an episode like this that has 20,000 scenes and never ends, but everything moves so incrementally that it feels like it's not moving at all.
Yeah.
And they needed to pare down on the characters. We didn't need Ormond Hightower, Daeron. We didn't need the Tumbleton court. We really didn't. What we needed was a location for the two dragon seeds to go, for those things to then happen. And it could have been anywhere. It could have been the butcher's ball.
I think Tumbleton could have been. I think Tumbleton is fine to include, but you could just like the amount of like dwelling that we've done on Tumbleton and exploration of character and all that sort of stuff, like that is not necessary, right? Yeah. Like all they needed to do was establish these are the sides of Tumbleton,
right?
And maybe some connection between one of the dragon seeds and somebody on the greens, right? Like it, and I'm talking a scene,
right?
Exactly. Of you see Ulf get treated like shit, and then Ulf lands near Tumbleton, and a guy is like, "Hey, buddy, like,
hey, bro,
nice dragon."
You can drink at our bars. We won't stop you. Yeah, I mean, exactly. You could. There's a million different ways you could do it. That's a lot more truncated than this.
Yeah, I just don't get how they didn't. I thought for sure, based on like the introduction of Ormond and like the idea of them taking Tumbleton would happen so early on in the season. I would have thought that by episode 4 or 5, Tumbleton 1 and or 2 has already happened.
They could have easily fit 2 Tumbletons in the season.
Yeah.
They could have fit 2 Tumbletons.
Yeah. So,
but alas.
But no tumbling has occurred at Tumbleton.
No, we haven't yet tumbled.
So, yeah, there's some other stuff. Mazaria brings Sylvie into the throne room, which is that scene just really, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, why?
That was so stupid because Sylvie's like, you think you're powerful and have influence. And Mazaria is like, I do. And Sylvie's like, you think you can still, like, look at you in your silks and you're like, you still think you're one of us. And Mazaria is like, I'm actively trying to help you. Like, I'm actively talking to the queen about your problems to try to help. What is the issue?
They also dropped the most like season 6 of the Bad Show line in this of Sylvie's like, do you know what those swords remind me of? 100 little cocks. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Why did you say that?
That's what a common folk of King's Landing would say about the chair on which they think the sovereign who was anointed by God sits. That's what the small folk think. Yeah.
It's just annoying. Like, it's just annoying and out of, it's like, I don't know. Like, we just, and so she brings up the fact, because we literally talked about, like, Rhaenyra should stop hearing petitions. Like, there is no reason for her to. And Sylvie's like, that's a big mistake. And it's like, you don't know about any of this. I'm not saying that, like, I'm not saying that she's wrong or right or whatever. I'm just saying that, like, why I don't care what Sylvie thinks of what Rhaenyra is doing. Yeah. Like, let Rhaenyra's decisions stand on their own. Don't let, like, why are we judging that? Also, and I hate to say this, like, why is the show insisting on being like populist?
Right.
When there are story beats that are for that, right? Like there's stuff that happens in Fire and Blood that are for that, of like the unrest that is caused because the royals are failing to actually take care of the people that they're supposed to in a feudal system, right? You're supposed to protect people. You're supposed to provide like some level of, you know, economic
protection,
opportunity and protection, stability. But the bottom line is, like, I just don't get, like, it's a very like it, and I don't know if I'm just fixated on the fact that Ryan Condal said administration in one of the behind the scenes episode or inside the episodes, but to me, like, I'm like, you can talk about politically relevant themes without just making the show have modern politics.
Right. Exactly.
Like
exactly.
like
Exactly.
I don't understand the concept of Mazaria being like talking to Rhaenyra about like you have to be a champion of the people or whatever. It's like that's not how any of this shit works. And Damon's the only one who's like spoken sensibly about that, right? Like where he's like, that's how this works. Like they don't have shit because we have to have all the shit. That's how feudalism works. Like
right.
welcome to the
monarchy.
an absolute monarchy. Like the whole point is that they don't have shit, right? So like it's just weird that they would never think about, like they would literally never think about, well, what if it was a different system?
Oh yeah, no.
Right,
The small folk are not like on the
royal
verge of political revolution. No.
And the royal family would certainly never be like, well, why does it work this way? It's like, because I have all the power and other people don't. Like, I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying, why would Rhaenyra be concerned about that at all?
She wouldn't be. I mean, and she would be what she is in the books, which is the absolute monarch in this feudal society who is imposing her will on you with her dragons.
Yeah. And then people push back on that because everybody gets a vote, right? Like in the sense that your actions can.
Right, but she also is like concerned about like the people being well cared for, which like there's rulers in Westeros who have that. Jaehaerys and Alysanne were like that. Viserys was like that. Arguably Visenya was like that. You know, there's things where it's like it's easier to absolutely rule people who are happy about you being there.
Right.
But it's not this like populist, you know.
Yeah, it's as a means of control.
Right, exactly. It's like required as part of the social contract, but you don't like give it's not like everyone gets a dragon, you know. It's you are the small folk, we are rich, you do not have any social mobility. That's how feudalism is, and that's the system they're under. And yeah, none of them are vying for revolution. You didn't make me realize something. I think Sylvie has more lines this episode than Rhaena.
Very possible.
Yeah, so that's like a scene that straight up could have been cut.
Yeah.
And just
totally
unnecessary.
Don't
need it, don't want to see it.
The episode we also see Dreamfire, I guess.
Oh my god, there's so much. Yes, we see Dreamfire. This was cool. I like this.
Yeah,
I like the dream sequence.
Yeah. Helena's visions. I liked visually. I think I get people's like critiques of Dreamfire's design. I understand. I think color wise, I wanted something a little bit more vibrant for Dreamfire, because Dreamfire certainly evokes. I think it's described in the books as like a pale blue. I would have loved like a light blue purple sort of vibe. They went a little more aggressively like purple brown because
they can't get away from that brown filter. They can't do it. They need that brown saturation in all the dragons. Yeah,
but I think there were people who were like freaked out by all the horns, but I like a dragon with a lot of horns. I thought it was cool. But anyway,
it makes her distinct. I can at least tell her apart from the other ones.
Yeah. So we see her on the back of Dreamfire saying Dracarys in the dragon pit, it looks like. And then we also see her with her chickens.
Yeah. Oh, my girl.
But her chickens are not immune to the long night coming, apparently. And also, are Helena's chickens Azor Ahai? I have in my outline. Is that?
Ooh. Wow. Okay. Are they born? Perhaps.
Azor Ahai and Nissa Nissa are her chickens.
Yes. They are born amidst salt and smoke. You know, that's true. That's a fact. And you know, that's definitely, you got something going there. Was there a red comet? What is Caraxes if not a red dragon comet flying through the sky?
the bloodworm.
He's the blood, you know. There we
Um,
go.
the last scene of the episode is Ormond Hightower taking a meeting with Ulf, and it turns
Yeah.
out that they've been meeting
Yeah.
for some time. And well, first I'll just ask like what did you make of this being sort of the like dramatic turn of the episode?
I mean, it's fine. It's a fine interpretation of how the bastard deception occurs. It's like one way you can interpret it. It's not the way I interpreted the book, but that's fine. Um, it's not wrong per se, and they have characterized Ulf as like being treated like shit.
Yep.
So that is, that is consistent. I think Damon is elitist and is monarchist and all these things, and would treat a lowborn kind of like shit. And Ulf responding that way, I think, makes sense. So, yeah. I mean, I was fine with it. I forget exactly what our analysis was on House of Fire and Blood, the other podcast I do about this story. But I always interpreted Ulf's turn to be less about like ambition or anything like that, and more about fear, that he was like quite afraid of being a dragon rider. And there's quite a bit of evidence of that actually in the Tumbleton section of the text, which we can talk about after next week's episode. But I thought this was fine. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought overall, like, I didn't really have a problem with it. My big thing is, like, as with a lot of stuff in this show, it's like, how did this happen? Like, Ormond seems to, based on like what we have seen in the show, Ormond has like an absolutely insane command of, he can manipulate like political factions of commoners inside of King's Landing to murder Gold Cloaks. He has like inside information on Rhaenyra's small council and her comings and goings, and like what her desires are and wishes and all this sort of stuff. He knew where Corlys Velaryon was in the Triarchy to send his guy to go abduct him. He has like an almost supernatural control of things happening around him. And on the other side, Rhaenyra has no control of anything going on around her and no knowledge of anything that's happening.
Yeah.
And to me, like, if the story relies on that imbalance to make it make sense, then it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
Now, that's not a specific critique of, I am fine with him like being getting these like meetings with Ulf. I almost think that it would make more sense either happening through an intermediary, because I think him setting up a whole deal where Ulf like just is like, are they meeting like outside of the walls? Like,
it looked like it.
Yeah. And my other thing is like, is Ormond, timing these things to where Hughes never showed up for his shift, like, and been like, wait, what the fuck is Ulf doing?
Yeah.
So, and also, is Hugh still in Tumbleton? Like, he might be. We don't, like, did he ever come out? I don't know. We haven't seen him. Does anyone care that Hugh hasn't showed up for his shifts? I don't,
Where is Vermithor? Said no one ever.
Yep, no one's concerned about that. So anyways, like there's holes. But I actually thought that the interesting thing that this got me thinking about, and a reason that I think I was like, why do the reveals in this story, and like when people try to do twists in George R.R. Martin stories, like, why do they always feel kind of like they don't hit with the weight? Like, I knew the Red Wedding was coming before I saw it on television, because I know I read the book. That still carried a decent amount of like emotional weight when it happened, even knowing that it would happen, seeing it depicted, all that sort of stuff. I think the area, like, what it got me thinking about is just the fact that one of the literary devices that George uses to like extremely strong effect is dramatic irony.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He
Yes.
loves people knowing, like the reader knowing stuff that and building tension because the reader knows stuff that the characters do not. Right. And that is where he introduces a lot of tension. And the shows don't do that. They don't want you to know anything because they want to surprise you with it visually, when it's like, could we have benefited from scenes where we know that Ulf is meeting with Ormond, and Ulf is in the Red Key and is getting the shit kicked out of him, right? By Damon.
I see what you're saying. Yes.
And is meeting with Rhaenyra and getting told, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. And we know, we're like, no, you idiots, like he's gonna turn, right? Like, and then it makes when he turns, it's like, I fucking knew it, like like because we see that. And so I just think, is there, and I'm not even saying that it's this thing in particular, it's like, it's kind of the whole show where it's like, it isn't a very George way of telling a story to withhold everything from the audience for maximum dramatic effect, because his whole thing is the audience knows shit that the characters don't. Right. Like,
I completely agree.
And it would also make it like, it makes the decision making of the characters like make sense, because it's like, well, I have this information, but you don't. Right. If you had the information I had, you would be making a different decision, but you're not making that decision because you don't have complete information. Whereas right now, a lot of times when characters are making decisions, we're just like, why the fuck are they acting this way? Like, there's no explanation for how they're acting this way, but we also have incomplete information about the story they're trying to tell. So anyways, I just think like, would stuff like this be better? Or, you know, and not even this precise example, but just like in general, would we benefit sometimes from there being a bit of dramatic irony in the interest of making the turn or the dramatic moment, the audience feels like, I saw this shit coming, like I knew it was gonna, like, right, where, and it's like, well, yeah, because you had complete information that the characters did not. And because it's not told from the POV, they could totally do that. Like, none of these shows are from characters' POVs, except for one episode of this show from this season. So you could do it, and it's like, I think it would be effective as a storytelling device, especially making it feel like a George story, which in theory an adaptation of George's material wants to do that. I don't think House of the Dragon wants to, but but in theory.
So I completely agree, full endorse everything you said. In addition, I think there is real value to writing a piece of media that has significant rewatch value. And when you write something that is just surprising, it has no rewatch value. There's no reason to rewatch it. You've already been surprised, right?
Right.
Whereas when you have something that has dramatic irony, as you're pointing out, there's huge rewatch value or reread value. It's one of the reasons, I mean, you and I both reread the main series many dozens of times, because every time there's something new, because it's so dense and there is so much of that dramatic irony in it. You could even have, and this is something where I think the show is suffering from, it's skipping around between 20 some odd different scenes with all these different characters, because Ulf doesn't appear in this episode until the end.
Right.
And Ormond says in the very beginning, I have another piece on the board. The implication initially is that it's Corlys.
Right.
But is it? Is the piece really Ulf?
Yeah.
So you could have just nixed the Corlys plot, leave him alone. And you could have put some of those scenes we had of Ulf having, like, being shit talked and being mistreated. You just put in this episode, in the same episode, Ormond saying, I have another piece on the board, or I'm about to have another piece on the board. Cut to Ulf in King's Landing being talked down to again, or whatever.
Sure.
You know, just pair up some Ormond and Ulf scenes where they're not in the same room, but you're getting the implication.
Right.
and then pair the final one at the end with them together. And
Yeah.
you could do exactly as you were describing, where we understand why the character is acting this way.
Mhm.
And it's not just like, bah, it's like there's actually a connection forming between them that upon a rewatch, a viewer would be, or even upon a first watch, a viewer could pick up on it, but definitely upon a rewatch, the viewer would be like, oh, okay.
Oh, they
Like,
were hinting,
it
like
was right
he says
there.
this and cuts right, and it cuts to
It was right there.
Ulf. Yeah, yeah.
I find particularly like visual stories that are like that, so compelling. So like, I don't know if you've watched The Haunting of Hill House. Everyone should watch The Haunting of Hill House.
It's been recommended to me a million times, and I still need to watch it.
It's very spooky, but excellent show. It does that very well. I've rewatched it several times because it's one of those things where when you get to the end, you're like, God damn it, why didn't I like? You're like, it was right there. It was always right there, and that's what makes the reveal so powerful. In the same way, the Red Wedding in the books was on page. Like the Red Wedding was, and not to knock anybody. I didn't see the Red Wedding coming the first time I watched it. I read it rather. I didn't put that together. But upon a reread, I'm like, oh, it's really obvious. This is going to happen.
Yeah.
But like, that Martin was messing with me, and that's okay.
Well, and like what he successfully did in the build up to that is like, I don't remember, I spent most of the time in my first read rationalizing all of the reasons that everything was going to be fine. Right. Where you're like, you're handed all this evidence and you have this like uneasy pit of your stomach feeling of like, I think something bad is going to happen. Yep. But then it's like, oh, they ate the bread. Like they were offered the hospitality. Like, no, it's not gonna, where you're doing the work.
Yeah.
For the twist, right? Like you're the one, like, despite all the evidence and stuff characters are saying and everything, like he's not hiding it from anybody. You're the one doing the work of hiding it from yourself and then being, aghast when it actually takes place because there's all these reasons that it shouldn't happen, but it does. Whereas like twists in the show are often like there are lots of logical reasons why something shouldn't be the way that it is, and then it is.
And then it is. Are you not surprised? No, I think that's Martin very successfully plays with the expectation of the reader. And so like my brother once said to me something I thought was great, because he also read A Song of Ice and Fire. And he was like, when I was halfway through the first, or like towards the end of Game of Thrones, he's like, man, this story, I can't wait for the story to end with Robb marching on King's Landing and fighting Jaime Lannister to save Ned Stark.
Yep.
Like he was like, that's what's going to happen. Like I see it 100%. And that's that would happen in like a classic fantasy story, sure, but that's not what this is.
Right.
But yeah, I think that the capacity for dramatic irony and structure and things like that, I think Game of Thrones got high on their own supply in terms of like everyone was surprised by the Red Wedding because they didn't foreshadow it, so of course it was surprising.
Right.
And they got famous for that. I mean, that's when the show really like took off. Yeah. When the Red Wedding happened. And they completely misunderstood why the Red Wedding was so impactful. It wasn't that it was surprising.
Right.
It was that it was quite genuinely subverting the expectations of the fantasy genre, like actually doing that, not just being a shock. So the Ulf thing is like, it follows with the characterization we've gotten. I just wish they had restructured it so that like that characterization was like in this episode. And again, we had this problem with it's just like they've got too many disparate things happening.
So many
that we can't. And I love a many character show. I love it.
Right.
But it's too broad at this point. It's broad and not deep,
Right. Yep.
Is that all the scenes?
I'm sure I left one out, but no, that is I think everything. It was so much and yet so little.
So much and yet so little. What
I also didn't make my joke about The dead speak. Somehow Sunfire returned. Which is a little Star Wars reference, the
Oh, yeah.
really bad sequel trilogy ending, where that's the scrolling text is the dead speak. Somehow Emperor Palpatine returned.
Yep.
Which is just a unbelievable piece of writing. But yeah, so I think we got to it all. Man, it is really just a show that like it was all there in the palm of their hand, and
They did such a good job in season 1.
they
I
really
really
did.
like. I recorded with back when it aired, or around the time it aired. I recorded on the Batch Books now for your review of each episode with Kylie and Julia, and we were all very impressed. We were all very impressed with how it was, and Gretchen too. Gretchen was also very impressed
Yeah.
with how it was. And I don't know what happened. I don't. And this is not the only show where this has happened. And you know this is going to happen with the Night of the Seven Kingdoms. You know our Good Night show is going to do the same thing.
I hope not.
They can't help it. They don't have. They can't help it. It's just, they have a compulsion. I don't know.
They can't do that. It's Dunk and Egg. They're not allowed.
I know, but even at least with a Game of Thrones, they were able to make the argument like, well, the books aren't done or whatever, which is stupid because the author of the books is working on the show with them, so it doesn't make any sense. But fine. But Fire and Blood is complete.
Right.
Like the dance is complete, so there's no excuse. There's none whatsoever. And I won't buy any of those. A writer's strike. What did it lobotomize their writers that they couldn't come up with something after that? What are you talking about? Like, so it's something to be studied for sure.
Yeah.
We have one more episode.
One more.
It looks like it'll be battle times.
Yeah.
Do you have any predictions for next episode?
Well, I mean, if it's anything like the Tumbletons, like if we have to do both Tumbletons, there's gonna be a lot of people die.
And dragons.
Like named people and dragons.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if they're willing to actually do that. Because I mean, if they're looking for a more focused narrative,
perhaps you take some pieces off the board.
this is a way to do that swiftly. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. Like, I almost think that that's how it has to go. But it would be very atypical of a season finale in a Game of Thrones property show to be the, climactic battle, right? Like of a ton of characters die, and then there's 2 years before anybody finds out like what happens next.
Yeah. I mean, this other thing too will be like if a lot of main characters die all at once, then it's less impactful.
The impact, right?
But also like we got to start getting these dragons out of here. Like it's the Dance of Dragons. They're not a lot of dragons make it out.
I think unfortunately there's a few characters that I'm thinking about where I'm like, when they die, like I just feel like it's just not gonna hit the way that it should.
Yeah, I could think of a few.
Yeah. So there's just, I don't know, but I do think, I agree with you that basically in the interest of moving the plot to something resembling the last quarter of the actual war itself, they have to start, they have to do, like they have to get to the end of Tumbleton 2 in order to give themselves even a chance of telling a complete story by the end of next season.
They could do something absolutely psychotic, and they could just do Tumbleton 1.
and season 4 begins with Tumbleton 2.
Sure, why not?
or like, yeah.
Or episode 2 will be Tumbleton. They could. We've been assuming they're only doing one Tumbleton. They could still do 2 Tumbletons.
Imagine It's like the House of the Dragon with the astronaut with the gun meme of like
Yes.
it's all Tumbleton. It's all Tumbleton. Always has been.
Oh, man. I don't think they'll do that. So the next week on showed like Damon there with an army. So that feels like they're doing one Tumbleton for they're doing all combine all Tumble. I just can't believe we spent a whole season getting to
Oops, all Tumbletons.
Oops, all episode 8. Oops, all Tumbletons.
So.
Oh, that's hilarious. I will go on record as saying this season should have ended with the God's Eye.
Yeah.
The fact that it did not end with the God's Eye is going to fuck the pacing in the next season. But the writers at HBO have not met the concept of pacing, so
I'm like, I wish I could trust them more with like visually the God's Eye has to happen a certain way.
Yep, it does.
And if they fuck with that, then it's already over, unfortunately, but it will really be truly over because it's one of the things that I think fans will have, like people who have read the books for sure, but I would say even fans who have heard of what happens at the God's Eye, or the battle above the God's Eye, like there is simply only one way that can happen, and it needs to look cool as shit.
It needs to look cool as shit, and the logistical way in which it happens that you are referencing was foreshadowed in season 1.
That's right.
So they were thinking about it.
They were.
So we'll see.
Will they remember that? Yeah.
They kind of forgot the foreshadowing in season 1.
Oh God. Well,
it's okay. I'm sure in 2 years we'll have very normal thoughts about that when that happens.
Everything will be hunky dory.
I'll be emotionally stable and mentally well by then. And my relationship with the show will be normal.
Oh, well, this has been a quite long breakdown of.
I'm sorry. I thought this was going to be a shorter episode, but
I know I thought so too. And
but I think we did really good analysis, so I think it was definitely worth it.
Well, yes, no, and I would agree with that. So, check out the rest of our podcasts here on YouTube. And if you like Duncan Egg, it's mostly about that. And the Hedge Knight, close reading of the Hedge Knight is all the way up. And we started reading the Sworn Sword, and then the Duncan Egg show had the nerve to come out, and then we got really busy. And so, we'll get back to the Duncan Egg novellas soon. But
so next week we'll be covering the finale, I'm sure.
The finale.
And if you want more Fire and Blood related content, I do have another podcast, House of Fire and Blood, with my friend Gretchen, where we've been doing a close reading of Fire and Blood for like a few years now. We are going to do an episode covering this season. It probably won't be for a few weeks after the season ends, because we kind of like to percolate on it a bit and think about it, and then go back and do that analysis. But Gretchen and I have finished our analysis up through the end of the dance. Not all of the episodes are posted because somebody, i.e. me, is bad at editing them, but they are in the pipeline. So check them out. Cool. And we're going to be continuing that as well. So plenty of very normal level analysis content.
Yes.
Definitely, like I have lost memories of like the first time I rode a bike, but I can tell you in great detail, the metaphorical symbolism of the God's Eye. So, priorities.
Absolutely. Well, like we said, hit the buttons and subscribe and things. Yes. And thank you guys for hanging out for the stream. And we will see you next week to discuss whatever happens at Oops All Tumbleton.
Oops All Tumbleton. I'm sure it'll be great and immaculate, and it'll be fine.
Have a great night, everybody.
All right, good night, everyone. Bye.